Oh, yeah, but the heart.
The Diego Pavia situation, they were covering for their guy Bain there a little bit. So, I don't know, man.
We'll see if that changes some mocks around.
Bink, how would you be more disgusted if they took Bain at 9 than you were with Josh Simmons being taken by the Chiefs last year? Would you be as disgusted or more disgusted?
For different reasons. I mean, obviously, I'm team wide receiver for the Chiefs at this point. So, yeah, that would be it. Now, I will say this. Will Bain move inside? There's probably a good chance that he will. And he said he would do it. So, no problems there.
So, you're saying if he moves inside, you don't care. But you got to know that you're drafting an interior. Oh, okay. Well, but I just meant like as in you wouldn't care from a like his arms are too short perspective. That's what I think Drew's asking.
Well, yeah, because it's because you, Bink, out of all the people at the station, you by far take this more seriously, the arm length, than any of us do for good reason, because you do the research and all that.
And the NFL
stuff.
Teams do care. Drew,
yes,
Bink's not wrong.
Yeah, yes, you're absolutely right about it. But I do think that for that reason is why you would actually not like the pick at all, because of the trends that you look up, of all that information that you know the NFL teams care about.
About getting to, when you get to 25, 26 years old, you still have that reach to get around the offensive lineman. Because offensive tackles, you're talking the big arm length there. You're talking 34, 35-inch arms. You are talking, just think about just sticking your arm out and not being able to touch the other person. Like you're in a fight a long time ago when you're a kid growing up, and you put your arms out and the other person can't touch you, which is a big problem when it comes to
I feel like it matters. I don't know why. I just feel like it matters more for offensive linemen because at least as a pass rusher, I feel like you can have a variety of pass rush moves or, there's some options available to you. Just keeping an eye out on it. I was just pointing it out. I wanted to mention it.
But I'm team wide receiver, though. Team wide receivers. So
which one's your favorite,
the biggest issue? Lemon.
Oh, me too. Look at us, Bink.
Yeah,
lockstep.
We just became best friends.
How about that?
Just became best friends.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize, I
How does it make you feel to agree with Jay Binkley, Cody, on a draft?
Makes you think I should reevaluate my picks.
You might. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point
time
by
to get back on the draft board because I'm not sure anymore. Who were your favorite players for the draft last year for the Chiefs? Can you walk me through some of those? Because then I can make my determination. Who are like the 2 or 3 guys you're like, I hope the Chiefs take this guy last year?
Well, to be honest with you, I was screaming for Luther Burden, but.
Oh, okay. I mean, his rookie year is weird though, because I definitely saw some flashes with him. I don't think Luther Burden didn't look like a guy who couldn't play in the NFL, but there wasn't but every wide receiver in the last couple of years drafts has had those up and down ones. We'll talk.
But Simmons was a lot, ready to play a lot sooner than I think a lot of people thought, including the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as getting ready. So give him credit for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it changes it just a little bit based off that. Again, Jay's in for Gold for the next 2 days, and we'll talk more about football, obviously, throughout the show and baseball and everything else kind of in between. I did want to start with something Brett Veach had to say about at the Combine, as he was speaking earlier in the week, and this idea of maintaining where they are. Because there is a part of me, it's kind of like the way Andy Reid Bink had said, we're close. We're almost there. We're at the doorstep. I almost, in a weird way, don't want Brett Veach saying the word maintenance or maintaining in that capacity because I don't feel like that's where they are. I feel like it's either a half reset or you need to be aiming for higher than just the maintenance part. I understand how close they were and the run that they had. But last year's 6-win team should have been a real wake-up call for maintenance isn't going to get it done this year. You have to be more aggressive or look at things differently than you have in the previous years. I didn't like the way he was talking about maintaining, I guess.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was always like squeezing the blood out of a tournament, taking that sponge and getting all the water out of it. I think they were on a run. They were on an incredible run. They wanted to keep the pieces together and see how far it would go. And I think a lot of people, kind of in that standpoint, when you look at everyday items like your car and you got it paid off. Or your cell phone, and you got it paid off. You're
not trying to get a new one.
You're going to keep going until you can't go any further with it. When those wheels, you need to replace the wheels, I need to replace the tires, I need to go out and get a different car. So you keep running it around. That was the Chiefs. Just keep the thing going until the wheels fall off. Well,
then the wheels fall off?
They did. So the wheels fell off for the Chiefs, but they kept it going as long as they could. And when you hear that maintain, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense with who they brought in, the direction they were headed, as far as, replacing people in the future where they need to get better going forward. It made sense. kind of way they did the draft, kind of way they handled themselves, some of the free agents they brought in. I think that they slept last year on wide receiver. And I know that they had gotten to the Super Bowl, and I know they'd won the Super Bowl with not a lot of talent at wide receiver. Hell, you saw Mahomes win rings with Sky Moore and MVS and guys like that. To always think that he can do it again, that Mahomes can actually do things like you're used to seeing. And you're going to have a receiver suspended. They knew Rice was going to be suspended. The when and the how long were the big questions for him. But I
think it was longer than they were anticipating.
As far as bringing guys in, like a Keenan Allen, some didn't sign till right before training camp with the Chargers, just different free agents that were out there that you could have brought in saying, we need somebody else to kind of, take this replace of Rashee Rice. We don't want to find ourselves in a hole at the beginning of the season when he's gone for 6 games. I think they let some things like that slide.
I think so too, but also I'm worried that he's talking about maintenance again. He wasn't just describing last offseason. He was talking about this year's team. What's there to maintain? I do think, and this is the difference between the Chiefs and I guess where I'm thinking on it is, I don't think the Chiefs are as far off as maybe Alex does or others do, right, from being there. But I also don't think they're as close as the Chiefs described for a majority of last season and seem to be describing for a majority of this offseason. Because the way I view it is, it's kind of like a roster, Bink, where how many areas are you sure you don't have a question? I have a question at running back, wide receiver, safety, corner, defensive line. How many areas are I sure I'm good at? Punter, quarterback. I know they're not cutting Butker, even though I got questions about his ability anymore. And then if Trent McDuffie's back, I'm fine on corner, right? Even without Jalen Watson, I'll make it work with Noel Williams and some other. I'm not overly concerned about what they do at corner. But at safety, linebacker, defensive line, running back, wide receiver, I got a lot of questions. Maintenance isn't going to get it done. They got a lot of different holes and areas that they have to evaluate this season before they could just ride along with the different veterans, bring everyone back, bring back Dana, just try to maintain an edge and finish themselves in some way that contains the leaking from being too bad, like you mentioned with the car, and hold it close. But that's it. After that, it's you feel like you got to make a major move here all of a sudden.
Well, the only time we've ever seen them really do it, but they kind of did it right in front of us, but you didn't realize it was being done, was right before Super Bowl 57, the year that offseason before the Eagles win, when they won in that one, when, Veach holds up the Lombardi and says this is what a rebuild looks like. Because he had a very good draft.
Yeah.
You're drafting Jalen Watson in the 7th. You're getting your running back, Isaiah Pacheco, that clearly hadn't given you production, going forward that you thought you were going to get going forward with him. But you got a starting running back in the 7th round. It was that draft to kind of build up the Chiefs because there were certain holes that they needed, and they were able to fill them through that draft. And it went on a run because they went on 3 straight Super Bowls at that point and winning 2. And a lot of it came from that draft the year before that Philadelphia Eagles win. They did kind of rebuild the team because we've talked about this
and
team.
they were picking higher, and they had 2 first-round picks, and they got them right. This year feels the same, by the way, when you're picking at 9th.
And they basically flipped the roster since Mahomes is here. Oh, just a couple guys.
Chris Jones and Kelsey. James Winchester. Is that it?
Yeah, Butker actually came the same year Mahomes did, but
middle of the season.
So he did start technically before Mahomes started. But as far as guys being here, that were here before Mahomes, you have a specialist, guy on defense, and a guy on offense.
I do like that there's multiple opinions. Someone said, talk arm length. And then over on the text line saying, Bane is a monster and a game wrecker. And then somebody else calling him Dino Bane instead of this.
Oh, my gosh. That actually might catch on.
I mean,
potentially.
It's unfortunate for Bane. I mean, again, that is pretty small for a defensive end.
Oh, in terms hey.
So I can already predict what's going to happen.
If his arms were 33 or 34, you'd be talking about a guy being in consideration for the number 2, number 3 pick.
Bane's going to fall. And I'm just preparing everybody for this now. He's going to fall to wherever the Eagles pick, and he'll go there and he'll be great.
Yeah.
With his tiny arms, he'll end up a Philadelphia
100%,
Eagle,
100%,
and he'll have so much success, and we'll just be like, "What the hell was everyone thinking?" Worried about the slight difference in his arm length compared to people who are different in that area, and we'll all be annoyed. So just prepare yourself accordingly. At 18, 19, 20, wherever the hell the Eagles pick, that's where Bane will eventually end up.
Go ahead and let him fall to 10, please, because I asked Bing before the show. I said, hey, what are Trey Hendrickson's arms? He said 32. Trey Hendrickson has a motor. He overcomes the shorter arm length. Ruben Bain, what does he have? A good motor. He overcomes the arm length. Let him fall to 10, please.
So you want him you'll take him as a Bengal?
Yes.
I think there's
Cody, that man showed up with no haircut. He had no line done. That man showed up like he just got off the field at practice. Sign me up.
If you want to have a real conversation, I will say.
It was talking about how much he loves football and loves that, but why is he
sleep and he has no hobbies, Bink. He's a guy that you should love.
Why isn't he doing the drills then?
Football guy.
Why isn't he doing the drills?
I don't know, man. That's just business.
He lets his game talk
David
on the field.
Bailey is.
He lets his game like live in-game action is what he showcases.
Okay.
I will say.
So weeks 3 through 10, when he had a half sack, that doesn't matter. His production doesn't matter.
If you like Bain,
the fact that Mesidor led that team in sacks, okay.
If you like Bain, this is good news. If you're a Chiefs fan and you like Bain, because with those measurements today, the likelihood of his availability at 9 skyrocketed today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's a much better chance he's available to you at number 9.
100%.
So if he's been your guy this whole time, well, I got good news for you.
And they've talked to him at the combine. So.
He is much more likely to be available at 9 than he has been. Pretty much at any stage during this. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk about something else that was said during the combine that I think is going to point. Binkley and I disagree on what this actually means for the Chiefs offense, but we'll talk about it in a little bit. But I was thinking more about the Royals offseason. 1 month from tomorrow, Bink, is the Royals' first game of the season. It's only a month away, and then we get actual baseball. And so, Michael Garcia, I think part of it is because I've heard the way Alex talks about him. And I saw Buster Olney's list of the top third baseman in baseball, and he had him at 5th, right? A very respectable ranking for Michael Garcia, who was and it took far too long, all-star last year, even though he was a more than deserving all-star. A good chunk of the year he had to get in kind of late. So only 4 guys he thinks are better than him at that position. And while I think if you base it off of last year's stats, that's not unfair. Am I wrong for wanting to just see it one more season with Michael before I pencil in the stats? That's all I'm asking. I'm very high on Michael Garcia. He had a career year in what would be a normal age for a player to have a career year. 25, 26, that's when guys start taking leaps. 27, 28 being like the best of those years. But yeah, 25 is not an uncommon time for a player to take off to another level and up their game to another level. But on paper, we have 2 years ago, Michael Garcia was a 323 on base guy, but like a 700 OPS guy. A year ago, like two seasons ago, he wasn't very good at all. He had a bad year. They had to move him out of the lineup or move him out of the top of the order and all that other stuff. And then last year had a great year. Is it wrong to want to see it one more year before I just pencil it in? I'm not saying I'm not high on him. I am. I actually think he will end up being good this year. But I don't think we should just be counting it as a known, I guess, is the difference.
I guess you always want to see teams or players back things up, like the pitching staff last year. Did you 100% buy in to the pitching staff?
That's 2 years in a row. I mean, it's hard to not buy into the pitching staff.
Exactly. I felt the same way whenever they backed it up. Because even though they had all the injuries, and even though Noah Cameron comes up and Chris Bubich played out of his mind the first half of the season and makes the All-Star game, that's another guy. You want to see if Bubich can back it up, if that was real that you saw last year. But I think a lot of times you see things in sports and you say, can you back it up? I know C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans take another sport where he had a good rookie year. And you say, okay, we'll back it up the next year. Can you back it up? And I think everybody wants to see if you can back things up. But it's good to see Michael. He's kind of the forgotten Royal, I think, when you watch all these previews on the Royals and they're talking about, Vinny and Sal and Bobby Witt Jr. for good reason.
Some of the guys who all had 100 RBI together.
But then they kind of forget about here's Michael Garcia, an all-star for the Kansas City Royals, and he's not mentioned very often.
He was a vital member
he's
of
not
a bad offense, but they would have been so much worse if he was not good.
If you ask baseball fans or just casual fans across the country, name Royals, of course they're saying Salvi. Of course they're saying Bobby Witt Jr. That might be the end of their list. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But where does Michael come up? I don't know. But we all know that Michael Garcia, at least last year, had a damn good season. You sure want to see what he can do this year, see if you can follow it up to the next year. It's one thing to do things, but when everybody makes that adjustment and everybody has those expectations on you, can you be the player like Vinny? Vinny's gotten better and better. It's not just, he
has improved.
Vinny had an awesome from May on, where Vinny was awesome last year.
Yeah, and his numbers still ended up being career years. And average and on base and RBI.
Two guys
and
over
home
100
runs.
ribs. So it's 2 of 16 in Major League Baseball, Sal and Vinny.
Yeah, even with the bad month. Of course, our spring training coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Park and Go, the best deal on airport parking. Visit parkandgo.com. When you look at it, and again, Vern tonight has Bobby Wood Jr. and Carlos Estevez on for the Hot Stove Show. I think what stands out, and the text line's bringing this up as well, I think the reason why everyone is still a big believer, and the reason why they don't expect to drop off, and why I don't either, to be clear, is because of how athletic he looks and how natural he looks as a baseball player. He got him at 22 years old, Bink. He was a young baseball player with high expectations. The only thing is like up until that point, the 3 years, it was really 2 full years and then part of one season that he was up. He didn't do well as a leadoff hitter. He actually did statistically worse. He's always been a plus defender, so that's not been he's always been a good base runner. That's been his. But last year he hit for power and got on base. That was surprising. He had not done that at any other point in his career at that high of a level. So yeah, and look, you know what? The truth is, Bink, I don't need to see it for a whole year. I don't need to see Maikel Garcia do 162 straight in a row. I just need to see like the first couple of months him look like Maikel Garcia again. And if he looks like the guy who led off for this team for a huge chunk of the year and was, what, their third best player for a huge chunk of the season? The only guys who were better than him consistently were probably Bobby Wood Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino. And Maikel plays a far more valuable defensive position. So, like, that part matters and all the other stuff. I'm high on Maikel Garcia. I just didn't know if anybody else thought you want to see, like, a half a season or something before we just write it in stone that what we got last year out of him is what we're getting this year.
And that's the hope. Can he back it up? Because I always kind of wondered, like, who's going to be the Chris Bubich of the team this year? Who's that guy that obviously Maikel Garcia doesn't fall
It
into that 'cause
surprises?
he had a good year, but is it Carter Jensen? Who's going to be that guy that has this season? You're like, whoa,
Cags.
where did this come from? Was it going to be Cags?
Jack Caglione is
But the
who
one
I
thing
think
with
it'll be.
Maikel is he doesn't have the pressure on him.
No.
'Cause everybody's thinking Salvi, and when Witt comes to plate, and Maikel Garcia is just this extra really, really great player the Kansas City Royals have that no one talks about.
Even if he doesn't have as good of a season as he had last year, I don't think that means that he's...
No, the numbers can come down a little.
I think that's like if he backs it up again with the same numbers, then I think you realize how good of a you realize, okay, he is not only had a great season last year, but he's backed it up with another one. He just is that guy now. Where if he doesn't have the numbers, then I think you adjust not necessarily your expectations, but you know he's a really good player and can have his ceiling is the season that he had a year ago. Maybe it's not consistently that good, but you know that he can deliver that on enough of a regular basis. You can rely on him at least. I think he proved that he's a reliable player.
What's his arm length?
Maikel Garcia.
I don't know. Do they even measure those things?
In baseball, they probably do. For pitchers, it matters.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Wingspan and arm length for pitchers matters.
Oh, by the way, Matt Miller put out the top 10 sack producers in 2025
Okay.
for arm length.
And they're all over 33 inches.
You do not.
They are. They are. They're all over 32.
I mean,
Every one of them. Top 10.
we can joke about it to a point. Because, look, Drew, if we're talking about, like...
I told you to beat the story this morning.
If you're talking, like, 32 and a half versus 33, no one's on here. No one's on the show caring about it.
No.
But Matt Miller is saying that this would be the shortest armed defensive edge player taken in the draft since 1999 does not feel insignificant.
Oh, I definitely think it's going to, I definitely think it's going to impact the draft stock in terms of like him going first now, like over David Bailey, I think is a non-star. I don't think it happens at all now. But it's hard to deny. I understand that there may be some inconsistency, but I think when we saw what he did during the playoff, you can't pretend like you didn't see it. Because he was single-handed, even if he wasn't getting to the quarterback bank. I think that's where the other thing I would look at when evaluating him is what was the pressure percentage? Because that man was in the quarterback's lap. If he wasn't getting to the quarterback where the sack didn't count, like the number might not be there. But if he was pressuring the quarterback at as good of a rate or better than Mesidor, then I think that matters just as much.
Well,
like
the one thing is Matt Miller points out, shorter and lighter than listed in Miami. He's 6'2". He's not 6'3". And he weighs 260. Well, I know he weighs 263, which, as far as moving him to the inside, there would have to be weight gain there for Ruben Bain. And what does that do to your explosiveness? Because you can't play on the inside at 263.
I know.
I'm trying to look up Michael's
arm length. You won't find. I doubt.
How are we gonna find that?
I doubt they measure.
Do you want me to text somebody to ask for it? Hey, do you mind real quick, just for the sake of the show?
I'm just saying.
Do you mind measuring Michael Garcia's arm length for us? Thanks.
Ruben Bain was listed at 6'3", 275 pounds. Combine 6'2", 263.
That's not as egregious as Pavia.
I mean that was bad.
5'9". At least he measured. I mean, he didn't have to.
I mean, come on though. You just stand next to the man. You know he's not 6 foot tall or whatever he was claiming to be. He was going to be like 6'1", wasn't he?
He's got a lot of heart, Cody.
He feels.
You can't measure heart.
No, you can't.
That's right. Yeah, there's nothing there for Michael.
Peter Woods came in with short arms too.
Did he? Yeah. Well, but he's an interior guy, right?
Yeah, but you prefer a little bit bigger than that.
So Peter Woods is out at 9'2". There's no way there's no way you want him there either.
Binkley's just moving closer and closer and closer to he would like a wide receiver at 9. This is
Saturday, man. Yeah. Saturday is
because
the day.
The truth is that Arvell, like, this is really small, but so one thing happened today that is, in terms of NFL deals, very small. Sweat got traded to the New York Jets in exchange for Jermaine Johnson, the edge player from the Jets, who's now a Tennessee Titan. But because both of those teams pick ahead of the Chiefs, even if it's small, Bink, it is more likely now that at number 2, because the Jets only have 2 defensive edge players under contract.
Yeah, they have no choice.
They're taking an end at number 2. So either Arvell, Reese, or Bailey are going at 2. One of those 2 players not going to be available. But at 4 for the Titans, because now they have another edge player, it became slightly less likely they take a defensive lineman and more likely that they take a wide receiver or Jeremiah Love or Caleb Downs or some of these other positions that they need because of the shift in this. So, like, this is why these mocks and all this other stuff, it'll matter a whole lot more in a month when every team has, or 3 weeks, when every team has gone through the first wave of free agency, every team is measured and seen these guys play and everything else kind of in between.
I'll tell you who made money today was Caleb Banks. 6'6", 327, 35-inch arms. Yeah, he's already been mocked.
You got guys like Calais Campbell.
That is a
Chris Jones.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Being. That is a gigantic human being. He was already climbing up. We'll talk about, I think, more of that stuff tomorrow as we get into who's climbing up there after we get through some combine measurements and might actually make a difference for him. When we come back here on Cody and Gold, Jay and I are going to talk about the Chiefs' offense. We disagree on what one statement from the combine means as far as how their offense is going to look, and it seems like there's other disagreements in the media. We'll talk about what that is next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
If you love sports, this is the show for you. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Weekday mornings 9 to noon Eastern on the free Odyssey app and YouTube at The Costos. Bringing you the biggest NFL news, guests, and notes from the offseason while getting you ready to win the madness of college hoops. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos. Live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Presented by BetMGM. Download the Odyssey app and listen from anywhere for sports talk from people who love sports.
Hey guys, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, it's Karen Harrison from The Drive here, and I want to invite you out to the first ever Drive Pop-A-Shot tournament on Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade up in the Northland. All you need to do is listen into the show to qualify on Monday, March 9th, and also on Tuesday, March 10th, and you could be taking home the title of Kansas City's Pop-A-Shot champion. Rob and I are going to be broadcasting from Draftcade starting at 2 o'clock, and the tournament gets going at 6:30. The Drive's first ever Pop-A-Shot tournament, Wednesday, March 18th. Your home for Kansas City sports, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back in here on Cody and Gold, 96.5 The Fan. Jay Binkley alongside Drew Nixon here in the show for the next 3.5 hours as combine measurements start coming in. Running backs and wide receivers and all that stuff later in the week. It is defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers today. Is that right? Do they care about leg length for place kickers? Is there a measurement they care about for place kickers, or is it just?
You know what? I don't know.
Do you put the ball between the uprights?
I think that might be more of what it is.
I'm just asking.
I don't know what the tallest kicker is in the NFL in terms of how does height play a factor? Or,
they don't usually care about that. You've usually got better.
Because if you're taller,
like soccer players are short,
Because if you're taller, then your leg length would be, you would assume it longer unless you got a longer torso, I suppose.
Maybe you want a shorter leg, That way you can get the force quicker. Hard to say.
I don't know.
The tallest kicker in NFL history was 6'6".
Wow.
Really?
Neil O'Donoghue, according to.
Well, the UFL is now
Wikipedia.
saying 60-yard field goals count for 4 points.
And we mentioned that yesterday.
Oh, you guys talk about that?
Would you want that in the NFL, Bink?
No, because everybody's doing it now. That's because you see more and more longer field goals. They've actually gotten better.
Bink, it's a good point. Before we talk some Chiefs and what I think might be changing about their offensive system, can you give me an official rating of how you think I did on my quarterback cadence? So we were talking about those rule changes, and I said that I hate when teams go up to the line of scrimmage and pretend to try to get him to jump offside just to get the 5-yard penalty. I think it should be a 50-yard penalty if you don't snap the football. So I gave the example of what I think quarterbacks do in this. Will you please rate my quarterback cadence? What do you think?
It's not bad. Now,
did you hear it one more time?
No, do it in person though, because see if I jump.
Do it in person?
You want another one?
See if I flinch.
I don't think I could. Can I do it again?
I don't know if you can replicate it again.
That matters though.
I don't know if I could replicate it again.
Or just see if I flinch. Just see if I flinch at all.
It's just too funny.
The pressure's on.
Hold on, I got to get a straight face now because Bink's paying attention. I can't look at him or I'll laugh too much.
Okay, here comes quarterback Cody Tapp to the line.
Wait, which defensive end are you pretending to be in the jump scenario? Are you
Ruben Bain?
I'm Bain. When I kept my arms down, wait.
You can see it in the video. You can see it in there. You find out if I get Ruben Bain to jump. At least I thought, hot. Nothing?
I didn't jump.
I think my first one was better. That's the problem. Damn.
I think the first one, it was so natural. It was
so natural.
Yeah, it was so
too
natural.
Forced this time. Let's talk about the Chiefs and what they are expecting to do this offseason. We spent a lot of time talking about where their offense failed. Desi Newell over at The Athletic had some stats up, and he was on Robert May's podcast yesterday talking about the expected run scheme changes. And Bink, just for the people in the stream, I'm actually going to have you play it if you don't mind.
Okay.
Jesse Newell and Robert Mays were talking about the scheme changes and why they don't expect changes to take place this offseason, and why I think that maybe they might be misreading this, and why I think there's room for interpretation on which way this is going to go. Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah, it's don't expect scheme change.
Yes,
correct?
let's hear from what they had to say.
I think for Andy Reid, and this takes confidence in yourself, he sort of said, I'm sticking with what I do and what I'm good at. Now, is that what they should do? I mean, listen, there's always ideas out there. Like, we know the Rams are going 13 personnel heavy, and they're using tight ends in a creative way, and we know the 49ers succeed in the way that they do. But, like, this is an Andy Reid offense, and this is Andy Reid kind of going out on, the last few years here on his terms. So I don't think there's going to be monumental changes. I don't think that Andy Reid has indicated that there's going to be that. They need fresh ideas. They need new things to kind of study up on. But at the end of the day, like, again, it's such a weird season because I just feel like, I keep using this example, but I feel like the Chiefs last year, they had 11 on blackjack, and we're seeing a 6. And then the dealer gets to 21. Yeah. And then they had 11, and the dealer showed 5, and they double down, and the dealer hits 20. And it's like, man, your strategy is wrong. What are you doing? It's like, well, kind of, but like things just sort of didn't turn out for them, and injuries played a big part in that. So I think they're sticking what they have. I think there's a discussion to be had about more new ideas, especially in the run game. I think the run game could use a refresh and them getting more explosiveness there. But I don't think this is an overhaul. I don't think it's Andy Reid changing what he does because, again, he's comfortable with his own skin. What he's done has worked for a long, long time.
That is my understanding of it as well. And talking to people even over the last 24 hours or so about, because they have some newer faces on the coaching staff that aren't just Eric Bieniemy. I think there's been
Chad
a little bit of turnover. And so I think that my understanding is that it will be a lot of the same stuff and that most of this will be driven by changes in personnel.
So I heard them talk about it. I had heard the comments from Brett Veach. Matt Verderam and some others read it the way I did, which is I still think there's a chance, if you look at it, that the RPOs are gone. And I guess what's the argument for keeping them at this point? Knowing how bad the offense was at success in running out of them, how often Mahomes would actually use the run despite facing the lightest percentage of the largest percentage of light boxes in the NFL last year, and he still wouldn't call a run. What is the argument for it other than I'm going to point out one stat that Jesse Newell had up over at The Athletic, because I do think that this probably does matter a little bit. Until both their tackles were hurt, they rated somewhere between 80th and 95th in offensive EPA per efficiency in just play efficiency out of RPOs last year. But once tackles were hurt, it fell apart, right? Like, I get it. So they're saying, hey, until the tackles got hurt, the offense worked. And then the tackles got hurt, and nobody was available, and it didn't work anymore, and then the quarterback got hurt, and it worked even less. But at the same time, Bink, they don't work. The NFL's moved away from them the last couple of years. There's less of them in some of the higher-powered offenses. Why not take a step back and use less of it? I don't understand. They're one of the highest percentage RPO teams in the league, but also aren't successful at it. What's the argument for continuing to do it? I actually think they might be more willing to move off of it than other people think.
Well, the thing about it is the reason they started doing a lot of it in the beginning, because that's what their quarterback did in college.
Yeah.
It was running the RPOs. Matter of fact, so many teams actually used to watch Chiefs film to get ready for Texas Tech when they played them, because the Chiefs were basically, what made you have success? What was the reason for your success? And the Chiefs ran a lot of it because their quarterback was very good at it. But obviously things change. Things change in the NFL, and you have to be willing to make those changes. And I know at times Andy Reid is kind of weighted. I know he's a huge fan of the college game and the different things that they're doing. Is he willing to learn?
But the NFL's going the other way. What, you say on RPOs forever?
Because take, for instance, we brought up before, but the pistol offense. It would have been perfect for a guy like Alex Smith, right?
Yeah.
In the pistol formation. So he brings in the architect of it, Chris Ault from Nevada. He came to Kansas City and was a consultant for the Chiefs and others, but they said, no, we just want you to be a consultant for the Chiefs. So he worked for the Chiefs the next year. That was finding something that was working in the college game that would tailor-make your quarterback. But you got to find out what's working with your offense. And if the RPOs aren't working anymore, you shift and you go a different direction. You just have to be willing to make the changes. And I know he has. I mean, the game has changed a lot since Andy Reid's been head coach.
He didn't always run RPO. It's always West Coast based, but he's altered a little the way he does it.
Everything's changed. I mean, the way that we use defense has changed. It's different from the day Andy Reid first started coaching. And you had inside linebackers, you had to be 255 pounds. And you had to be at least 6'2". And we've got into more of these safety looks. And linebackers, 225 pounds or less, because now you have safeties. Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens last year was used as off-ball linebacker, edge rusher, everything at 6'4", 218 pounds.
But if you remember, 10 years ago, the NFL tried to do
they
this
used him in nickel and everywhere else.
with like the local kid, Isaiah Simmons and stuff. The NFL tried to do this a decade ago, and it didn't work. And you know what's going to happen? I don't think it's going to work again. Binkley, everybody started shifting 10 years ago to these like, oh, the hybrid, nothing matters, positions don't matter. Why do you think the run game came back?
Yeah.
Because everyone's too small.
It's a seismic shift.
Yeah. Everything happened, and the reason why the run games came back in the NFL is because they couldn't operate in power. So the Chiefs should be operating with less RPO, more we're going to run it down your throat. Why have Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith if you're not going to just run it at them? Tell them you're running and run it at them.
Well, Spags has changed because Tyrann Mathieu was the impetus for a guy that can do different things at safety. Underside safety, did so many things. Matter of fact, the year before the Honey Badger got to Kansas City, he did everything except for playing nose tackle in Houston. He literally lined up in every single position but that when he was a Houston Texan before he got the Chiefs. Chris Jones, we saw him go from outside to inside to all sorts of different things. Spags found that perfect fit for what he is. So Spags has adjusted, and he's adjusted to what defenses are doing. Yeah. But I remember talking to Derek Johnson with the first back in 2013, something like that, and I said, why are guys so bad at stopping the spread offenses in the NFL? What happened to the art of tackling? And, he made a good point. He says, well, you're in high school now, and teams are running pro set and the I formation. I'm sure when you were at Tonka, it was a heavy run-based offense.
Yeah, high school football was.
It was, but now it's different. Now you go to high school football on Friday nights, wide open, teams are throwing it. Before, it used to be Blue Springs would run that run and shoot because Jack Pardee did it at Houston.
Yep.
So when you're constantly facing tackling receivers in high school, and then you're going to college and facing these spread offenses, you lose that art of tackling, that fullback leading forward to the I formation. You lose that art of tackling. I thought it was a really good point that guys aren't just acclimated to it as much or practicing it as much coming forward and making that shift. So, yeah, you're seeing that, and you'll see it with the NFL. We saw the Wildcat become real popular in the NFL. That was short-lived. And a few teams do it here and there, but really, is beating the Patriots. Teams wanted to find a way to beat New England, and so they would do more of the Wildcat, and McFadden ran it a lot when he was there, and other teams have tried to do it, but you see this shifting in the way things work. Do I think it's always going to be run? No, because I think in a couple of years you're talking more wide open passes. Once again, it's going to constantly go back and forth, but I do think there's something there to people not being great tacklers anymore. And I think those teams that are dominant with using the running game, they're taking advantage of defenses not being the size or acclimated to tackle running games.
I think a lot of this RPO conversation really relates to a question you have to ask or answer yourself individually, which is, okay, so like if I just generally ask 100 fans and say, hey, do you want the Chiefs to run the RPO offense less? Almost every single Chiefs fan, I think 70% of Chiefs fans will be like, hell yeah, I want less of it. They remember last year's team and do all this. I think the big missing gap between the Chiefs and us is the Chiefs think their offense worked last year. I'm just being honest with you. The Chiefs, when they go back and they watch the tape and they see themselves play,
they move the ball well.
Before the injuries kicked in, Drew, they think the offense worked.
Well, they ranked inside the top 12.
They were a top 10 before all the injuries. They were like the 8th best
use all
offense
of that
points
as
per
evidence
game.
to back them up
They were
point,
number 2 in the league in yards per drive. They were one of the better teams in yards per play. They're going to tell you that there was nothing wrong with their offense. But at the entire time last year, and this is the part I go back to, this is where I still think Andy Reid is very good at offense, and they're good schematically. Mahomes is still good. I think they were overcoming it because last year the difference was, while they were still successful statistically in some of those areas that we just talked about, it looked hard as hell.
Yep.
Like, you got to have something in your offense that looks easy.
They made it look hard.
It looked hard. Fine, it was successful. But
before the season as a whole, they finished 20th in offense, 25th in running.
Yeah, 16th, but we know that tanked after, Buffalo.
But scoring offense was 21st. And we're talking about a team that was number 1 in points per drive for many years. Even when they were 15 points per game, they were still scoring points per drive. The defense, by the way, was 10th in the NFL. They were the only defense not to make the postseason that finished in the top 10 in scoring defense. They were 6th last year in scoring defense. They were much better on that side of the ball. And the other thing, too, is fourth downs. Teams went for it 23 times on the Chiefs. They only converted 6 times, meaning the offense was being put back on the field in great field position. Yeah, they were bad on third down, but they were number one in the NFL on fourth down. Matter of fact, they were 57% for Mahomes in his career. They went down to 26% on teams on fourth down. They were very good on that, meaning that's like a turnover.
Bink.
They were putting the Chiefs' offense back up in great field position. They just couldn't do anything with it.
I think what you're talking about, because you mentioned how everything fell off once Pat got hurt. I think that even proves the point further of Patrick Mahomes was overcoming a lot of the problems that
he was hiding
that they had. So and because they were good, because they were able to be 10th or 12th or wherever they were because of Patrick Mahomes. Think of what they would be, obviously, if they had a number one, if they had a better run game. Then you enter yourself back into that top 3, top 5 conversation again, because it's, the point of it being easier is just like if you just went off the numbers and you box scored it, you'd say, oh, the offense was pretty good. But if you watch them play, it was like open heart surgery. It was the most difficult, like you're playing operation. It was the most difficult thing to do on the field, even with Patrick Mahomes.
I think Mahomes was hiding how bad of an offense they were running.
Yeah.
Like again, up until both tackles were gone, they were a top 10 scoring offense, top 10 yards per drive offense. They got first downs. They got drives that ended in points. They were one of the highest. They were a bad red zone offense. That's where they struggled pretty consistently. But
they moved the ball.
As far as all the other, they moved the ball. Consistently, they moved it. And I think that they look at those numbers and they say, oh, no, we were close. I'm like, no, it's Pat. Pat was saving you. You could have been something entirely different. You could have been so much better.
And it showed when Pat got hurt. It was bad.
Yeah. Had you been operating differently, you could have been you could have been better.
They haven't had the number one offense since 2022.
Yeah, and I don't even have the number one offense. I just seem to have the 5th to 7th best.
No, and here's the thing too, where your reality gets slighted because they were in all those games. That was the thing with the Chiefs. As bad as they looked on offense,
but again,
it was a field goal here, a field goal there that they weren't in the games.
But it's because of the defense again.
Or Travis Kelce, the interception going around off his hands against Philadelphia.
Because Bink,
that cost them the game.
If you gave them let's say the Chiefs, instead of being a top 10 defense, were 16th, they're not in nearly as many close games because the defense would salvage when the offense couldn't get going.
They kept them in.
The defense would keep them in the game until eventually they finally got it figured out.
They did, but the offense was just so bad as far as maintaining, like especially with the run and stuff. But they were just in these games. It gives you that false sense of security, reality, because they tried to, quote, maintain. We can keep the same group out here and we can keep winning these games like we did the year before when the ball was bouncing their direction, when they were blocking a field goal against the Broncos
I hope that's not
or
their actual
doinking one
attitude.
off the uprights in Carolina to win the game. And you expect those things to happen. That's what Denver's going to be fighting this year because everything bounced their direction last year. And that doesn't always happen.
This is the same as when I got to listen to a scout for a major league team talk in August about a player's hard hit rate. I don't care how hard they were hitting the ball in August if their average is still 205. Something else is broken. The advanced metrics, like those things, that's when they lie to you. You tell yourself nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. It's all fine. And I'm like, I'm watching it.
That's right. You tell yourself it's fine.
Yeah, you're just lying to yourself. I'm watching it.
Yeah.
There's something off. And we all know there's something off. Over at Arrowhead Pride, by the way, they did there, and I really appreciate this. They ran out their 4 scary outcomes for the 2026 offseason. And because we're talking about this stuff and this attitude stuff, Bink, I think it's fun. Which of these 4 would you hate the most? You ready? They said these are the 4 possible scary outcomes for the Chiefs in the offseason. 1, Chiefs do not address running back before they enter the NFL draft. 2, they target another smaller wide receiver in their grouping. 3, the Chiefs re-sign the free agent defensive lineman of next year again, so they bring back a Menahue or Tillery or Noddy or Pinnell or some other defensive lineman that they've been bringing back for the last couple of years. Or they don't decide on a long-term solution for Trip McDuffie and stick with status quo. As in, he's not under a long-term contract, he's not under anything. He's just on your team. Of those 4, is there one that would make you the least happy?
I think the running game, not at least addressing it with a mid-tier running
would
back.
bother me.
Like a Tyler
they're
Algier
taking
or somebody like
11-9.
that. Because then you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Then you're counting on that running back, like an Emma Johnson or something, coming in here and being the dude. But if you could be bringing somebody that's played in the NFL, like an Algier, like a Trevor Etienne, like a Rico Dowdle, you bring somebody in that's at least proven. You don't have to get top tier because clearly they're not going to get top tier in Walker and Breece Hall, but at least attempt to build up that running back room because we all know how it goes. You can be gone on one play. You need a full running back room because the chances are that's not going to be your same running back room the whole season. It's going to look good on paper, just like the receivers. They look good in St. Joe. But, man, when this season starts, it looks completely different.
Yeah, in shorts they looked fine. I was thinking about these. Running back is the scariest to me because if they genuinely do not sign a running back before the draft, I will be firmly convinced they're taking Love.
100%.
How can I not be?
100%.
The question though, at that point, like what's even more concerning about that too is if Jeremiah Love performs, if he tests well, which I think we all kind of think he does,
that's going to be a problem. Yeah.
Do they have to move up from 9 to get him? Like if they don't have a running back, and then we need to get Love, but they need to move up to get him. Then at that point,
that's even worse.
Exactly. I think that's where it becomes even scarier. Is you're having to bank on Jeremiah Love, and if you know he tested well in a team like New Orleans, like if you have to jump New Orleans at 8, or if you have to jump the Commanders or get into even the top 5 potentially to get him, then I think that would be the scary, because I think there was a report out that the Giants are interested in Jeremiah Love because they want to combine somebody with Cam Scatterbo. Like,
oh man,
those sort of things.
It's not out of the equation though, because Bijan was drafted with Tyler Algier.
Algier's coming off a 1,200 yard season.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, if you don't solve it, would you even have to trade up to get Jeremiah Love, or do you just
Tennessee
settle
at 4 having somebody for Cam Ward,
or would you just, I guess, settle with Emmett Johnson or the other kid out of Notre Dame, Price, or whatever.
If you take a second round running back, it's not crazy that they're a starter or a co-starter with. They just bring back Kareem Hunt. What's funny to me, or I guess interesting about the running back conversation that we don't even address when talking about it, as it relates to the draft and free agency, is we spent a huge chunk of last year with fans saying Brashard Smith can be a guy, give him a chance. So, like, is there any part of you that if they just barely address it, right? They just go with the lower tier free agent running back, and they're going to the draft with lower tier free agent running back, Brashard Smith, and then maybe they take a third or a fourth, that they just like Brashard Smith? That's not usually my indicator. I think a lot of times I don't want to be banking on a 7th round running back to be good again.
Yeah.
And they didn't even trust him to run between the tackles last year, so I have a hard time actually believing it. But are there still are there Brashard Smith truthers out there still that would rather he have a chance to win the job than use the draft pick compensation, spend your free agency dollars? The
Bieniemy and DeMarco can make the difference.
Yeah. Look, they got Kyle Monangai up and running. They can't get Brashard Smith looking good. Running backs can come out of anywhere.
Have you looked at the Chiefs' skill position numbers the last couple of years?
It's bad.
Like with a leading receiver.
It's bad.
This past year, Kareem Hunt led the team with 611 yards.
I would guess
leading receiver, once again, Travis Kelce with 8.
Second, I'm going to guess, was 640.
And we're talking 17-game season.
Yeah, I know.
It was the same the year before.
Oh, it was bad.
They
won a Super Bowl in a year in which their leading wide receiver was, I don't know, Kadarius Toney or
They
something.
just don't have stars on offense. And
No,
yes,
they don't.
Kelsey's been a star, but he's going to be 37. There's no Drew Nixons in the house, man.
No?
We need some dogs.
Is Drew Nixon a dog?
Yeah.
You got that dog in him?
Drew's got some dog.
Drew, what was your best? Golf was your best sport now. Was that your best sport growing up?
It was basketball, probably.
Basketball.
It was basketball and then golf.
Drew would have loved our combine. Our
I would have loved it.
Drew
It would have been
awesome.
awesome.
Cody, I think
won it
won
one year.
Yeah.
Champ.
I would have been all about that.
Number of years ago, Bink. I was in my early 30s then,
The combine, yeah. You dominated the Wonderlic.
I was number 1 in the Wonderlic.
Oh, did you guys actually do it? You guys did the Wonderlic test,
I was number 1 in the Wonderlic, number 1 in the 40, number 1 in the vertical, number 1 in the broad jump. Drew, I dominated the combine.
Let's go.
Cody had a good combine.
Sneaky athletic.
His arm length was respectable.
Cody was Nick Eamon-Wari from last year.
Crushed it. The only thing I didn't win was the bench. Bink took me in that, and there was one other
you were like a
category.
you were like a 9.5 out of 10 in the RAS then.
Yeah, crushed it. Now, again, my competition was a bunch of other middle-aged dudes in sports radio, so it's not like
I had
wasn't
Rob.
really up against it, to
I had
be
Rob
clear.
Britton as the favorite, I think, and everything.
And Alex fell in his 40s, so that probably didn't help him.
Expecting
What?
Drew would be good in the combine, I think.
I fell in the 40 the following year. It was weird. It was
Drew
like
and Mac would
the
be better on
surface
that.
was weird. What's that?
Drew and Mac would be better on that.
Oh my God! I imagine they
Younger
finished.
guys.
I would think they'd finish 1 and 2. This goes to the same thing. When we originally did this, Spec laid out his fake odds, and I was second to last. And I was like, well, that's kind of an offensive.
Yeah,
it's not an offensive.
I would
ranking.
take offense.
But I said the same thing then.
You
I said
Ruben Bained it, man.
It's in the second year we did it. I finished second. Carrington beat me out, not for every category, but he did. He finished higher than me. He was first. I was second.
Total points or whatever.
Total points. He was first. I was second. The first year I won it. But I think it's more more than it is proud for me to win it. If we did a combine again, like the whole station did it again.
Yeah, rented out the cool place last time.
Where I finish doesn't matter. If you lose to me, that's embarrassing for you. That's embarrassing for Mac.
Because you've stretched to
41 years old and out of shape. If you lose to me in a 40, that's embarrassing for you.
If you're fast, you're fast, though. And this, again, goes back to the social media video that we did. If you haven't checked it out, my bench is not, would you rather bench 225 or run a 4.540? It's 4.540 all day.
Yeah, same.
What is your 40, Drew?
Text line did say
I don't know.
I'm good until I get into a hot dog derby.
You don't know what your 40 is?
Yeah. No, I've never done a 40.
Can you go out here and run one?
We used to run 100-yard sprints when I ran cross country in high school.
I'll time you if you can measure out the 40 yards. Go out here during the break and
I'm
run
not
a 40.
going to do that.
Why?
I've got slides on. I don't have shoes.
You're not curious what your 40 is?
Not particularly.
Remember
no.
when that police officer showed up? We figured out how fast we could throw the baseball.
Yeah. I do remember that.
I'll do your time. Does anybody want to time Drew?
I don't
have shoes though.
I was.
Oh, do you want to wear mine?
I gotta remember. I think I was 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah.
In the 40. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. For just like a regular dude.
Not for this crew.
And compared to NFL players, yeah.
It was good enough to be number one here.
Not for this crew.
Xavier Worthy completed his 40 in over a second quicker than you did, which is kind of nuts to think about.
But in a weird way, that doesn't seem that bad. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's only a second faster than me in 40 yards. That doesn't feel all that. I don't feel all that bad knowing that.
Based on that pace, too, so I looked it up. Usain Bolt's 40 was slower than Xavier Worthy's 40.
But how much do you like football, though, Drew?
Usain Bolt, I think his 40 was 4.22. Xavier ran a 4.21.
Did you know that Tyquan Thornton actually beat the record as well until they reviewed it?
Originally, yeah.
And they gave him a 4.29. Originally, he was going to be
he beat John Ross. Yeah.
So why if Tyreek came back, he wouldn't even
Tyquan Thornton's had a better career than John Ross.
Wouldn't even sniff the fastest chief.
Getting roasted over on YouTube and Twitch.
Well, not the Tyquan.
Edward over there says, just prove combine stats don't matter, even for you guys. Because look at the hot dog race statistics. Didn't lead to on the field, he's saying. All that performance has not helped me win a hot dog.
In fairness to you, though, I do think because you are...
Those hot dog derbies just are hard to run it.
I was going to say...
Gold?
I should be better.
Gold win?
Yes, and we're not going to give gold... We're not going to make excuses, but Cody and I are not as tall as Alex Gold, and in the suit, the costume, it's better if you're
Height
taller.
matters. Height matters in the hot dog derby. It's like arm length
Even
for
if you're
Ruben Payne in the draft.
Cody might be faster than Gold, but in the hot dog costume, he's not because of certain
I've technically
factors.
beaten Gold in a 42 times that we've measured it.
Exactly.
But it's longer than a 40 for starters.
Correct.
So my stamina's no good. And I choke under the pressure of the hot dog derby.
I was going to say,
hey,
that
if you're
might
having
be
to
it
listen, Royals, I want back in. I want back in.
Opening day.
Did you beat Nate?
I want UMKC night.
Oh, actually,
UMKC day at the K.
Yeah.
I would like to be
You,
in the hot dog
Turgeon,
derby.
and then somebody else.
Yeah.
Did
Some
Nate Taylor
rooms.
run with you guys, Nate?
Yeah, Nate Taylor ran with us. He beat me too.
He beat you.
Everyone's beating me. Nate Taylor beat me. Nick Schwartz, Alex.
We were all rooting for you, Cody. That one was the worst
And
one.
Matt
That
Beasler. Those are the people who've won the race the time I was in it. Matt Beasler beat me. Now, again, I don't have any shame about losing to Matt Beasler.
No, hell no.
That tracks. That's a former professional soccer player. I am supposed to lose to him. I felt I was in the race for all the other ones. That's the frustrating part. I was in it. I had a chance.
I'm good at beer chugging.
Yeah, I can't
That's the
beat
only
you.
one. That's the only one.
Still good at it?
Yeah. You get better with age.
That's good.
Cody, are you faster than Tom Brady then?
What was his?
I don't know. Somebody on the text line said
mine was like 5'5". I'd have to look it back up.
Rich
like
Eisen?
right
Are you
there.
faster than Rich Eisen?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Cody's faster than Rich Eisen.
In the suit?
See, Tom Brady.
It is pretty incredible. Like,
he ran a 5.28. Brady.
Tom?
Oh, no,
Okay, so it's slightly
that
slower.
fast. A little slower than Tom.
It is pretty incredible to see people who
Close though.
like when you see people who talk about like sports all the time. Like sometimes people like Cody, I would consider you to be athletic, at least in terms of like you and I have raced before. Like in terms of the
You and I were
all these other things.
virtual tie when we ran a 40 against each other.
He's good at poker.
I think that it
count for
is
something?
pretty incredible to see some people who talk about sports and everything like that, how it's like they never played sports growing up. It's nuts to kind of see.
We were talking about this the other day. I by no means claim to be any kind of a good athlete.
But you grew up playing, like
You and I talked
you
about
look
this.
like you've played sports before in your life.
My
at a decent
entire
enough level.
my entire childhood was just backyard sports.
Yeah.
Pickup basketball, backyard football, backyard baseball, street hockey. Like that was my entire youth, was just tennis. Anything we could any sport we could pick up, we go play tennis off of the park off of Paseo.
What's your pickleball like?
I'm not bad. Honestly, I've played pickleball like 3 times in my entire life. Drew saw me play. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm acceptable. I made a diving shot against Scott Parks and about took down the entire arena, but I still hit the shot. It's got to count for something. Now, a lot of it's just that. When we come back here on Cody and Gold, Nate Taylor had something to say earlier in the week. He's supposed to join us later in the week, but he had something to say earlier in the week that I think the Chiefs need to make their postseason plan. I'll tell you what that is next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, a natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural, drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac Maury, and I wanted to let you know that I've started a new social media series called Mac's Minute. Real original, right? It gets released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our station's Instagram and Twitter accounts, plus YouTube Shorts. I'll give you my best take in 60 seconds on the biggest stories in sports and Kansas City. Make sure to follow on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. Watch Mac's Minute every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our social media platforms. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Back in here on Cody and Gold, 11 o'clock hour. Cody Tapp, Jay Binkley with you. Drew Nixon on the other side of the glass. I was getting ready to send a text off, Drew. Ask who I need to be in contact with to make sure I'm in the hot dog derby for UMKC night.
There you go.
I got to look it back up, though. I before I sent the text, I wanted to make sure I knew.
Who was it that took
I'm 0-5 if I lose.
Who was it took a bat in Milwaukee. Who was it? Took a bat to one of the
I can't remember.
The runners.
I know you're talking about. Whit Merrifield threw water in my face the first time I ran it.
Who hit the mascot?
I don't remember now. I know you're talking about, but I don't remember now.
But do you remember the big controversy on that?
Oh yeah. Always exist. MKC night at the K. I need, I just got to make sure.
2003 was Randall Simon.
Randall Simon
hit a Milwaukee Brewers racing sausage mascot with the baseball bat during the sausage race. The sausage fell. It was a 3-game suspension for him hitting the sausage.
He got 3-game suspension. By the way, it's really early in the season, Drew. April 14th. Very early in the season.
Yeah.
So if I lose, maybe I could get one later in the year and just. I said it at the time. Losing was not going to deter me from never trying again. I am determined to win one hot dog derby race, and then I can hang it up. I gotta rig it, I think, in the sense that
just
I gotta
retire in glory.
I gotta like get some people in the race I got a chance against. I can't be going up against the Matt Beaslers of the world. I'll lose.
No. If you race Drew?
Yeah, I lost to Drew.
Gold finish for there was part of me too because the only reason I didn't, I think I would have beat Alex, but I didn't dive. I was full on.
You didn't beat Gold?
We were getting because Gold won, but again, I was also in fairness, I was getting choked out by the freaking costume because the head flew back. I had a red mark on my esophagus. It was I was getting choked out by the costume. I was ready to dive. I was ready to go all in, but then I held back the reins a little bit because they would have probably not been happy.
Do you think you'd be better as a sausage?
I don't know.
I'm getting it back in the hot dog derby.
I'm just asking, is it a hot dog that holds you back, or is it another food item?
In fairness,
I know at DC they raced in old president's costumes.
I still think the height is something that factors into it, where Cody and I are not gifted with 6'3", 6'4" height.
It would help. You know what? Maybe I should wear lifts when I run it. Those would be hard to run in.
If everybody else had to, I think you could. If you figured it out, I think you would have a chance.
You know what? If you want to race against me in the Derby, I'm going to try to get all 3 people in here. But you have to be. You can't be 6 foot tall. You got to be in the 5s. I'm done racing tall people in this. You know.
Mac.
Yeah. Mac would run in it. Sam Stevie keeps asking. He's actually too tall for the costume. So I think he'd absolutely torch
Sam's
me.
like not allowed to?
He's technically taller than the range of height they suggest you are for the costume.
What's that contest where you have to run, get the baseball or baseball bat at first base?
The Bobby Wood Jr. one, the steal a base or whatever?
Run all the way back.
I don't want to do that one. I just want to be in the hot dog derby.
Could you beat Mr. Freeze?
No.
In Atlanta?
No, I can't even win the hot dog derby, Bink.
But you don't have to wear a costume. You don't have to dress like a hot dog. You just run however you want to run when you face Mr. Freeze. And you get a head start.
So everybody let me know if you want in. I'm going to try to get this thing rigged up. Next up, let's talk, and coming up in 10 minutes, we're going to talk about how the NFL is threatening, I think, the entire NFL referee union. But, Bink, I heard Nate Taylor earlier this week, and he was talking about Rashee Rice. And he is talking about it. I don't even need the clip. He's talking about it like Rashee Rice's potential suspension for the upcoming year is borderline a foregone conclusion. And I actually think Nate's right in the sense that this is how the Chiefs have to operate. I think they need to treat their entire offseason plan under the assumption that they will not have Rashee Rice for at least half a season, which means right now your number one wide receiver is Xavier Worthy, or your number one wide receiver is the guy you take at 9 or sign in free agency, or is Travis Kelce. You have to operate genuinely as a team.
Sure.
Like Rashee Rice is not available to you. I don't know if they're operating that way. That's what Nate Taylor had to say about it.
The NFL doesn't necessarily need to let the legal process play out. I know they've preferred to do that recently, but no matter where this sort of civil lawsuit goes, like there is the allegation of photographic evidence where you are alleged to have abused the mother of your 2 children. You're basically a second offender of the personal conduct policy. So the shortest conclusion to all this I can say is he's probably going to get suspended again. And from a, moving forward past 2026, it's really hard to suggest like the Chiefs, and I'm not the first person to say this, that the Chiefs are going to, even maybe get a 17-game season of Rashee Rice. let alone have any conclusion like he's, viable to give an extension based on, just how turbulent his career has been so far off the field.
I think you have to have two plans. And it's just like kind of the plan with Travis Kelce. When they're talking about it, well, you plan for him to come back, and then you have a plan if he doesn't come back. You have to have two different plans to go. And we see it in sports all the time. We saw Bill Self, what he's doing at Kansas with the team that plays with Darren Peterson and the team that plays without Darren Peterson. And you have them both, so you're not exactly surprised. And the team has to adjust when you don't have said player playing for that team. And I think the Chiefs should plan the offseason accordingly, like you're not going to have. Because I think
that means they need wide receiver bad.
They banked on their receivers.
They need wide receiver desperately
Yeah.
if they do not have Rashee Rice on the team.
They've banked on receivers the last 2 years. And you know what happened 2 years ago? Hollywood Brown gets hurt in Jacksonville preseason. Gone. Week 4, Rashee Rice gets hurt. So that receiving group that you saw in St. Joe, completely different.
I mean, right
than
now,
what you had in the season.
let's just pretend like they give Tyquan Thornton a deal, just for the sake of building out the room a little bit. As it's at right now, if you had to play a football game, and let's say Rashee Rice was suspended, your number one wide receiver would be Xavier Worthy. Your number 2 would be Tyquan Thornton, who doesn't even really operate in
If he
that
comes
system.
back, yeah.
No Hollywood, no Juju. I guess Jalen Royals is your 3 or 4. He couldn't even get on the field last year. And Travis Kelce is certainly the target monster in this scenario. That, on paper, is not just a bad wide receiver unit. That's the worst one in the NFL.
By far.
And so this is where I think you and I get back to number 9 and wide receiver and Lemon or Tate or Tyson, whoever your guy is. Not you, just in general. And why 9 has to at least be a serious consideration for wide receiver. Because, or signing a free agent wide receiver of slightly better quality than you've been going after. And I don't know if that means because Hollywood Brown did still catch passes for this team last year. And as much as I don't want this to be the season of bringing people back for the 1,000th time, are they going to have a choice? Or do they have to bring back someone like Hollywood? Do they have to bring back somebody like this? Or do they have to sign, who's the best available free agent that's not Alec Pierce? And what's their number? Or and this is where I mentioned to Alex last week, should you just trade for one? Should you just solve your problem by trading for A.J. Brown or some wide receiver like that? There's a big deal every year. Because right now, if I have to pretend like Rashee Rice isn't on this team, I don't know how to fill out a good wide receiver unit.
That's the only other option you could do is through the trade if you're not relying on the draft and you're looking at history with Andy Reid in rookie receivers, even though Xavier Worthy had to step up and be that dude his rookie year because everybody was hurt.
Yeah.
With Hollywood Brown hurt, Rashee Rice, he had to step up as a first-round pick at the end of the first round, but he had to step up. He had 59 catches. Deshaun Jackson played well his rookie year in Andy Reid, but typically receivers don't, particularly play well in the first year under Andy Reid. But the problem is the cost of doing business. Because you mentioned, and Alec Pierce probably mid-20s that he gets paid. It's not a great receiver, but you're going to pay that wide receiver tax. Even a Juwan Jennings is probably going to command at least $22 million on the free agent market. That's a former 7th-round pick. You're going to be paying that big-time money for a receiver. So when you draft the guys, you have them for 4 years, like a Rice. And if they're worthy, you get that 5th-year option. So it's a much cheaper route to have a wide receiver is doing it through the draft than going out and paying that heavy tax on a mid-tier receiver that's now the top of the receiving class. Because that's one position you pay a lot of money on.
Yeah.
And if the Chiefs go that direction, which a trade is absolutely a possibility.
Why would it not be?
You've got to find someone to
and this is why Tyreek Hill's going to get a very serious look.
Because drop
it's
passes.
the cheapest way to potentially get a number 1
Because
wide
drop
receiver.
passes, beating man coverage, there was a lot of issues. The route running, there's a lot of issues. The drop passes really, really were frustrating. 3rd and 8 drop passes to keep the offense moving. But yes, you see all these mocks and the Chiefs going defense. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But who's going to catch the ball? Mahomes can't do everything. He is a 30 now. He can't throw it and catch it.
No.
Who is going to be that dynamic weapon? I know the Seahawks, if you look at, how the teams did it and won the Super Bowl, yes, their defense was very good. But also they had the leading receiver in the NFL. JSN did get them to the Super Bowl. Did he have a great Super Bowl? No. Did JSN did he have a great NFC title game? Yes. 10 for 153 and a touchdown. That defense gave up almost 500 yards to the Rams. Defense looked great against the Patriots, but you got to get to the Super Bowl. So you need offensive weapons. They just don't have any. And the whole frustration is we can't catch the football, we can't run routes. And the whole frustration you see with the Chiefs offense, can't beat man. You heard that over and over and over last season during the year, the drop passes. Well, it's not going to fix itself by having absolutely nobody to throw the football to.
No, it's not.
That's a big part of football is catching the football, something that they don't do particularly well. I'm just shocked. Yes, they need edge rushers. 100% they do. It should be in their top 2 picks. But that first pick needs to be receiver.
I understand their weakest unit on the field.
Unless they make a trade.
I know their weakest unit on the field is defensive line. Can we also admit, though, that with that identical weak defensive line, they were a top 5 defense most of the year? But with the wide receivers and the weapons, they weren't that. They definitely weren't that. The defense still played fine.
Yeah, top 10 defense, 6th in scoring, 9th against the run, 12th against the pass. They doubled up every offensive category. The defense was that much better. But yeah, we only want to work on the defense.
I said, and this is still the guy that I would try to trade for. And I'm not sure it's going to happen, but I still think they should try to trade for Brian Thomas Jr. I don't think he's Liam Cohn's guy. I think that they got their system worked out where it doesn't work that way. And I understand they're going to move Travis Hunter more, right? Drew, is that the idea? He's going to play more corner this year than wide receiver, but he'll still dip his toe in the wide receiver market.
Yeah, it'll lean more one way than the other.
I think he's already fallen out of favor a little bit there, and I've seen high-end Brian Thomas Jr. in high-end years put up some big numbers. Fresh start it.
The biggest concern, though, is the drops.
I understand. And you just mentioned how frustrated you are with the drops.
It's a big concern.
But my problem with the drops are drops when you have no talent, I don't like. Drops and you still get yours, I'll live.
Well, that's the thing with Tyreek Hill coming back. Let's not forget Tyreek Hill is one of the league leaders in drop passes every year. Yeah, he was able to make up for it with his speed in going and get that 70, 80-yard touchdown. But let's not forget, he put the ball on the turf against the Chiefs in Germany, and the Chiefs scored a touchdown because of Tyreek Hill fumbling the football. Tyreek Hill
ripped that thing away from him.
He's finished number 2, number 3, and number 7. I mean, he's in drops. But he can get away from the drops because of his speed. But when the speed comes back and you're dealing with the injuries, okay, are you going to be a reliable receiver running other routes when your speed can't get you out of everything?
Maybe not, but I also don't think that speed completely goes away even if you're recovering from the injury. Coming up in about 7 minutes, we'll get to the trash of the day. But first, the NFL is in the middle of, and not the middle of, but getting ready to have a negotiation with the NFL Referee Union, the NFL Referees Association, and is already threatening them, which I think is interesting, Bink. The NFL, and Rappaport is reporting, that the NFL is threatening to centralize, quote, some of the officiating functions in New York if they can't come to an agreement from the NFL Referees Association before their deal expires in May, and they're threatening to do this. Here's the part of this I don't like. I don't want refereeing to be centralized in a booth on video replay from this because, and I cannot emphasize this enough, if you hate penalties slowing down football now, just wait till it can be done letter of the law by some dude standing behind a television screen in New York, 1,500 miles away. I want less replay, not more. But they are saying, and this is why the umpire union they don't like the challenge system, and why we're not going to if you can just tap your head and get a call right, why not just make all the calls right? Right? For baseball, why not just make it a electronic strike zone? Why the hell are we only doing it if I choose to tell you you're wrong? Doesn't make any sense, right?
Yep.
Because the umpires union doesn't want it. They're telling them either agree to this or we'll just get rid of you. And we'll just put it behind, it'll be a clickbait farm here in New York taking care of all the rules you do. The referees are trained to do this. We think the people in New York are going to be better at it? I think they're going to mess stuff up. They're going to call holes that don't need to exist. They're going to call face masks that don't need to exist. It's going to suck.
They came out, do you see where Troy Vincent, who with the NFL said there's 5 they'd like to have back?
Yeah.
And 4 of those came during noon games because that's your lesser officials, those games that don't quote matter as much than a primetime game in the afternoon windows. But 4 of the 5 came then, which means not all the refs are on the same page, and they need to be on the same page. And I know that some of them are full-time, majority of them aren't. I've always advocated for you get the officials, you make them all full-time, you get them all on the same page, same training. And, hey, I know they have other jobs, they make other money. Well, guess what? The NFL still pays you a lot of money to be an official, and there will be some people to do it. The game has just changed. The money involved in the game is gone from the millions to the billions. We're going to see the Seahawks probably sold for around $10 billion.
Yep.
The previous record was $6 billion from the Commanders. We're seeing a billion-dollar industry. These TV contracts are no joke. They're rolling over in the billions. Now they've got 5 games open to sell to a streamer. They're going to make more money. But not only that, the money that goes into the NFL, the people gambling on it, and the NFL has adopted that now. The NFL wouldn't even let you do fantasy football before. Tony Romo wanted to do a fantasy football game, and he wasn't able to do it.
In Vegas, right? They wouldn't let him.
And now you have all these partners with the NFL that are in the gambling sphere. Well, the money is so big on the National Football League, it's changed so much. So, yes, they all should be full-time, and I'm for getting it right. Whether that's on TV through replay or not, I'm for getting this game 100% right. One thing I really enjoyed the ACC, and Drew probably saw some. The ACC showed their replay.
I remember, they
was the only
had them
conference that
discuss it.
And it showed them, like in the ACC headquarters, where they were looking at the replay, so you were able to see in real time what they're looking at, having them discuss it, and they were very transparent on what they did. And I thought the way the ACC did it, I was like, man, if more and more teams and conferences, did this, heck, if the NFL did this, what are you looking at? What's the replay you're looking at? Now there's ridiculous replay rules where now if they see a face mask or something, they can call something that's not even challenged.
That's my nightmare.
That's yes, I agree with you.
And putting way too many flags on the field, but the NFL would probably like it just because it put more points on the board.
The replay assist is becoming big because we saw it with Kansas City. Shane Steichen was going to challenge the play where Noah Gray got knocked out. He caught the football. He was going to challenge. He didn't, which clearly he would have lost that challenge because Noah Gray caught the football even though he was knocked unconscious. Well, replay assist jumped in
and saved him.
And they actually saved Shane Steichen a timeout in that play. So you're already starting to see it more and more. This year you'll see it even further.
Some of this is, I don't mind that sports don't get them all right and that there's a strategy to challenge and maneuver and this kind of stuff. And I guess my problem with if it's all in New York, and let's say they did this way, and a huge chunk of it's in New York is, and the part that you're kind of emphasizing here without even trying to say it, but integrity of the game stuff, do you want everyone to say the league is fixed and they're all point shaving for sports wagering? Is that what you want? Because I can promise you, Bink, if it's just some nameless, faceless goon in New York making these calls, and I don't even know who this dude is, or what, like if I don't even know who this person is,
it will happen.
Well, then good luck. Then the whole thing's rigged and the system's rigged.
It will happen.
And I can't see, get out of here.
Just be transparent.
They already don't talk after the game. They already don't have the level of accountability as a player or a coach. No. You make it just some guy watching TV in New York.
You get a field report from the officials on what they
It's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. Like, I understand that they're not good at it, and there's a lot of problems with the refereeing and all this other stuff, but it's going to be worse if they continue to operate this way, and I don't like it.
Trash of the day.
Trash of the day today heads to the entire NFL. Can you believe it? Mink, we're going to discuss the entire NFL. This one brought to our attention from Jayhawk for Life over on Twitter, so sometimes you can participate in the show as well. He pointed out a tweet. I've not fact-checked this. I'm just going to go off of this because it's fun for Trash of the Day. ML Football cited a study, Bink, of the most divorced fans amongst NFL fan bases. Are you ready for this? According to this, number one most divorced.
You listening, Drew?
Fan base in the NFL, according to a 2026 study, is Cincinnati Bengals fans. At 26%.
Shocker.
Of all Cincinnati fans.
That's high.
So not only are you fighting the national average, you're fighting the Bengals average, Drew.
Drew, what do you think? Do you find that things are more tense at home these days, being a Cincinnati Bengal fan?
They should be.
What do you mean they should be? What does that mean?
Why? Because the Bengals are underachieving with the franchise quarterback?
When Joe Burrow gets hurt.
That's never fun.
But how does that affect my life at home? Like, I don't...
Joe Burrow gets hurt, divorce rates go sky high.
Joe Burrow. They just have no football to watch, so they got to spend more time together.
Hurt, everybody wants a divorce.
More time spending time at home.
I already do that. I don't know. I must not be most Bengals fans, but 26% is crazy.
They're claiming it's 26%.
More than a quarter of all Bengals fans.
And the national average is what, about 50%?
No, that's a
that high?
stat. That's a stat from like the 50s.
Well, I mean,
It's not
Bink
from
follows
the 50s,
those
like the
numbers.
70s.
So what are Bengals then? At least
It's
60%?
They're above average. I think like average is actually more like 24, 25%. That's like an old
So you're
stat.
more
from
like
the
Oh,
50s.
divorce rate is higher than that.
That's an old stat from like the 80s.
What is?
Bink, stop
I'll
getting
use
Not
AI.
50-50, I'll tell you
What
that.
is divorce rate
Did you
in
hear
America?
how excited he got to look up this, Cody?
He wanted to see people. He hates seeing love.
Actually, your Valentine's Day take was very in line with mine. And I was very proud of you, Cody.
I don't remember what that was. Oh, we just don't do
Yeah,
anything?
exactly. I heard that and I said, I brought it up. I said, well, Cody believes this. 2022 rate of 14.56 divorces per 1,000 married. Roughly 40 to 50% of marriages may end the divorce over a lifetime. And these were 2022 stats.
But I mean, the
And
number.
Bengals fans would be probably somewhere around 60, 63% would be Bengals fans getting
It's been
divorced.
declining every single year since the early 1980s.
Yeah, because no one's getting married.
Divorce is down 14.4% in 2023. It's down, man. We're not, we don't just jump into this thing. But there's like 26% of Cincinnati fans. Why do you think it is, Drew? As a Cincinnati fan, I need your breakdown of why you think that their divorce rate's higher than other fan bases.
I don't know. Maybe because I actually couldn't tell you. I don't know if they're more they're more stressed out because the Bengals have not been good. But then at that rate, you would think that Jets fans would be
Or
in that
Dallas
conversation.
Cowboys fans.
They're saying more and more
right.
adults over 50 are getting divorced.
Oh, over 50.
So maybe
Over
there's
50, yeah.
so maybe there's older Bengals fans
It might be, Drew.
that are part of that percentage.
You're saying I've been married for a while now. You saying I'm not safe yet, Bink?
About time, Code Man. Got about
I don't think so.
Get out of here.
About time.
Drew, you're a Bengals fan. You have no room to talk in this.
I know, but I wanted his opinion on why he thought it was. I thought maybe it was like expectation, like
I don't.
much like being a Cincinnati fan. The
Yeah.
expectation's not fitting the reality, right? Not
Sure.
holding up their end of the bargain, and maybe that's relaying itself in a relationship sense.
Like they're comparing their marriage to being a Bengals fan. Like there's a direct comparison.
Like, you know what? I keep thinking there should be a higher expectation for what I'm getting out of this relationship.
Similar to the football team that I cheer for. Yeah.
Similar for the team I'm cheering for.
Oh, and Joe Burrow's
And
hurt.
it's not
Give me that
meaning
number.
Or maybe it's just that, right? Joe Burrow's getting hurt, and you're like, I'm not watching this team this year. You spend a little more time, you find out you don't like that person as
I mean,
much.
in fairness, this is the second, third time it's happened. So I wonder if that's getting to people. It is getting to Bengals fans, I suppose.
It might be.
I don't know.
Someone says, oh, you're talking about divorce rates. I was really confused. Yeah, this one study said that Cincinnati Bengals fans lead all NFL fans in highest divorce rate.
I also think, how in the world do you get those numbers, though?
I don't know.
That makes
Well, a survey, right? I mean,
Sure.
I don't think it's
Well,
like...
they know. States can turn it in. They know exactly.
I imagine that there was like a long-term study done of
Approximately
like 5 years.
35% to 50% of first marriages in the United States end in divorce.
So they're better the second time around.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
What was it better the second time for you, Bink?
It didn't work either.
Third time's a charm?
And I'm not a Bengals fan.
You think the third time would be the charm?
I wonder if that's
by my marriage history, I'd be a Bengals fan.
I wonder if that shows more about the city of Cincinnati potentially than because you would traditionally think more. Bengals
Well, it
fans,
says
of course,
that
in Ohio.
Reds fans have a very high
as
stay
well
married rate.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say high divorce rate as well. I was
No,
like, well, maybe that's
Reds-
a Cincinnati
Reds stay
thing.
married. Reds
All right.
fans stay married.
Interesting.
I'm kidding, Drew. I have no idea.
Someone said, where's Cleveland on the list? It might just be living in Ohio.
There's no
'Cause if
Cleveland fans.
Oh, I disagree with that.
No, see, there is a point of like when you're just fully used to disappointment.
You just,
Like if you're, if you're a
that's fair.
Cleveland Browns fan or a Jets fan, you're so used to disappointment. Why would divorce even feel like a needed option?
Well, you don't admit
You're
it.
so used to being disappointed year in and year out.
So what you're saying is
Can't even change.
So
I
what
think
you're
it's expectation versus reality.
So what you're saying
admit
is it was the 2-year run that the Bengals had that got everybody's hopes up, and now they haven't matched it since, and
Yeah.
that's what's affecting.
And then it directly related to what it felt like to be married.
Yeah, that's tough.
I brought up the Chiefs odds.
So actually, Jets and Browns fans shouldn't want to be good because it might only be for a 2 or 3 year stretch, and then after that it goes back to normal, and that'll cause some problems.
Somebody
That's what you're
says,
saying.
did you do a divorce rate or a cheating rate based on state once? We did do that once.
The cheating one, I think we did one time. Yes.
Cheating rates by state. What do you think?
What state's the biggest cheater?
We did.
I don't remember what it was.
In fairness,
I think we did it.
we did look this up once, and I don't remember.
I don't remember what the state was.
Hawaii by a mile.
Wow.
According to this statistic.
By a mile?
Mm-hmm. I mean, by 18%.
Wow.
Now, look, this is one study, but this is percentage of U.S. states where the person who answered yes admitted to cheating. So maybe Hawaii's just more honest. I don't know.
Sure,
You're right. A quick AI search based on 2025-26 data, Hawaii, New York, and Alaska frequently rank among the highest
Hawaii and Alaska?
for infidelity.
Ohio was 22nd on this one I'm looking at. Kansas was 43rd. Very low.
Wow.
Very low.
Yeah. Well, you're in Kansas now, Drew.
The other part about the problem here's the problem with a study like this is that they have to admit to the cheating. Like, here's one from 2023, and they gave the methodology, so at least they did this. They said they had people rank the likelihood of cheating and then also the people who admitted to cheating to come up with what they call the 15 most adulterous states, in fairness. And Hawaii was one in that one, too. I don't know, man.
Here's Hawaii, number 1, Missouri, 22, Nebraska, 50.
Yeah, Nebraska
People
was dead
stay
last
married
in this
up
one.
there.
Someone said they wish they were a divorce lawyer in Cincinnati. They'd even put a banner up in the stadium. Jeez.
Yeah.
Put one outside.
Disappointed in the result today?
That'd be a good business, actually, in Cincinnati.
Things.
It's
Team not
ridiculous.
living up to your expectation. Team at home and all the same.
Jeez.
Give us a call.
Up. That's messed
That
up.
is very messed up.
800 Bingle fan divorce.
How was your divorce lawyer, Bink? Good one?
Great.
Great, you said. Same one for both?
I brought up the Chiefs average, though.
Did you use the same divorce lawyer for both? Or different?
They were different.
Oh, okay.
I did not think we'd be having this conversation.
I'm just asking. I didn't know.
I'm just saying I didn't
Things
think we'd be
change.
having that.
Maybe the other one wasn't available. Maybe,
Well, look at the bright side, Drew. The Bengals are number 1.
Jayhawk for Life says there's someone that was stationed in Hawaii that doesn't surprise them.
Wow.
On the text line.
A lot of things to do. Go surfing or, Hey, baby.
We need to get to a break now.
Grab the board.
Yeah.
Good time to need to go to a break.
When we come back, Jay Binkley has been looking at the mock draft trends. He'll tell us what they mean next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here. Cody Tapp, Jay Binkley with you. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk more about the Chiefs' attitude about the team going into the season and how maintenance, or they're saying they want to maintain. Play some clip from Brett Veach talking about that. But Jay Binkley's in for the next 2 days because Alex is off to Montreal. Have you ever been to Canada, Bink?
I have. I had a long time ago. I went to see Niagara Falls.
Okay, on the Canada side, huh? Not the Buffalo side?
Well, both.
Oh, okay.
But it's a long time ago, man.
Back when you could go without like a passport?
Yeah, I think you use driver's license to get over there, something like that.
You didn't wear any like USA gear over there, did you?
No, but I did go to Windsor, Ontario, and it's like one of the highest capita of strip bars in the world. Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It's right across from Detroit, but there's a lot of establishments over in Windsor.
So what kind of establishments? Because the text line was giving suggestions as well.
No, Windsor, Ontario is known for their adult establishments.
Apparently Canada is.
I was
because about a bunch of people kept texting that in.
That's what I'm telling you, Bing. A lot of people were suggesting that.
Oh, really? Were they saying that? The strip bars in Canada? Yeah.
That's I mean,
Windsor, Ontario, man.
Reportedly. I don't think you can
allegedly.
You said it's been a long time since you've been. I'm not sure.
It's been a long time ago, yeah.
I'm not sure it still counts, at least on that end. Bink, you're in, though, which means we're going to talk draft. Obviously, we started the show talking about Ruben Bain's arm length as it relates to availability. And we can talk about that again here in just a second. But you looked up every week. You pull up the mock draft trends. Tell us who out of the major mockers are taking what position for the Chiefs and I guess why. So give us a little breakdown. What's it looking like these days?
So today, the fresh ones from today. Do we need a sounder? No, we don't need a sounder.
No, it's not a. We're not necessarily doing a mock draft. You're telling us the trends.
There's a whole bunch of them.
We'll do a mock draft tomorrow. So, I promise you a mock draft tomorrow.
But I looked at a bunch.
We had to cut ourselves down. We had to limit ourselves to 2 a week.
Just looked at 15 today because I don't want to double up on the ones. But the 15 most recent. That does include like Mel Kipers and Bucky Brooks put one out for NFL.com. So all those guys. So out of the 15. Running back pick 7 of the 15th, and they're all Jeremiah Love, 100%. Wide receivers, saw an uptick. We saw 4. Edge rushers 3, safety 1 out of the 15.
So a huge uptick in wide receiver.
And keep this in mind, it's been as high as 14 out of 25 when I do 25 mocks for Jeremiah Love. There was one last Friday I did, and there was just 5 picks total between wide receiver and edge. 5. That's it. 5 between wide receiver and edge.
Why?
I've seen
debate now. See, the bait stuff could be playing a factor here. He came in today, in case you didn't know.
Caleb did
at 30 7/8 inch Ruben Bain arm length, which would be the shortest arms any edge player has been drafted by since 1999 in the first round. He would have the shortest arms out of, I think it was, what was the stat on it? He'd be the third shortest arms out of an edge player taken in the first round ever, I guess.
So, yes, it's an arm problem. He knew it, but give him props for going and measuring that because he could have probably bowed out of that, but he didn't do it.
You can't hide from how long your arms
are. But anybody would speculate on that going over the top 30 visit, they'd come in and say, all right, dude, what's this really, this arm length? But Caleb Banks was really popular right after the Senior Bowl. Saw an uptick. So out of the 25, you'd see like 3 Caleb Banks. I've seen more and more offensive tackles. I mean, usually 2 to 3 sprinkled in.
Why do you think that is? Is there something going on with Simmons I don't know about?
It's not Simmons.
They still have Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor under contract.
It's more for Jawan
and
Taylor.
Simmons.
Jawan Taylor's replacement. It's mainly right tackles, like Francis Moyaga from Miami. It's been
Bono, or he's
him at the right tackle. But Caleb Downs is a few. But the wide receivers have been split. It's not necessarily been Mekhi Lemon. It's been a lot of Jordan Tyson. That's been the majority of the ones today. 2 of them were Tyson, 1 Lemon, and 1 Carnell Tate. I think Bucky Brooks had Carnell Tate out there. But the trend is still running back. And keep in mind, I call it the Mel Kiper effect. because he went for his 2.0 and once again had the Chiefs drafting Jeremiah Love, which he's done that in both of his mock drafts. I think a lot of people look at that and you see an uptick on whatever Mel Kiper picked. You'll see a lot more of that said position that teams are going with, but people aren't buying the wide receiver at this point. They're still buying running back 100%. That's been the predominant selection for the Chiefs in all these mocks.
I think part of the reason that is the current mock trend is my best guess at why that's the current mock trend amongst people who at least follow the NFL, watch the NFL, and watch it closely, is because they understand that the depth at defensive line and who would be available to them in defensive line at 9 is no good. Their available options right now all seem too high to take at 9. The two guys who you would take before that are Bailey and Arvell Reese. And nobody thinks they're falling to 9 right now. Bailey came in at like 6'1,000,000.
He came in an inch shorter and 12 inches lighter than what he was listed.
No, Bain did. Bailey came in like a monster.
Bailey's fine.
Arvell Reese still looks to be the right size. So there are no questions about those guys being available. And so at 9, if you want to take a defensive lineman, it turns into a lot of interior guys. Banks, Woods, and maybe even Ruben Bain if
Peter
he goes.
Woods didn't measure very well, but again, he'd be more the inside, which you can deal with a little bit more. But Peter Woods was his measurements were not good.
And so I'm guessing that these mockers are saying there's not a defensive line for them to take at 9. But I guess then why not more at Downs? Like, the more and more we get into this draft, if Downs is the best player available and he's still there at 9, and Brett Veach talked about best player available in talking about the draft and that would be something that they paid close attention to, why wouldn't Caleb Downs be the guy everybody's mocking to Kansas City? Unless they think he's going higher.
I think he's going higher. He is. I do believe he is the best player. I think he's the best player. I think when all said and done, it's just like if you go back to the 2022 draft, two guys.
Do you know where it is for safety to go in the top 10?
It's Aiden Hutchinson and Kyle Hamilton, that 2022 draft. We say in the first round, I draft them. I take Kyle Hamilton even over Aiden Hutchinson at this point, as good as he's been, because I think they're both outstanding players, obviously. But Kyle Hamilton, I would 100% go with that. But I think the real question is I think there's two questions. One question for a GM and one question for draft experts. And the question for GMs would be, how many first-round grades do you have on guys? Because they don't. Just because you're a first-rounder.
The report is it's like it's 9 to 12.
9 to 12, 15 to 18, depends.
I don't think it's 15 to 18 this year. Everyone says it's light.
It is lighter, but it's why Trey McDuffie went, because the Chiefs had a first-round grade on him. He slips into the 20s. They said, all right, we got to make a move because we had him as a first-round graded player, and they went much different. But essentially, you're getting second-round picks after that. But what is the number on that? And the other thing for the draft people is I had Lance Zierlein on, who does all the bios, NFL.com, so he looks at a lot of tape. And the question is, what can you get at 40? What is a better second grouping? Is it the edges or is it wide receiver? Like if you pass on one of the two at number 9, and maybe it's something different. Maybe if you're hell-bent on getting a running back in the top 2, that would make a difference. But as far as edge rushers, can you deal with getting maybe an R. Mason Thomas later, or an Akeem Mesidor, or a Derek Moore from Michigan, or Zion Young, who keeps climbing draft charts because of what he did at the Senior Bowl for Missouri. We really like Zion a ton for that second grouping of edge rushers. But just because, Bailey and Bain are up there doesn't mean that a Derek Moore, a Zion Young, or any of these guys will be better than them.
Would you say that the edge rusher class is the best position group out of everybody then?
I think so. I think the second tier of wide receivers comes in the 20s. I don't think they have as many drafted as with 04 and 24. You saw 7 receivers drafted in the first round. I think we could be looking at maybe 5 to 6 wide receivers drafted in the first round. I think 5 is probably a better number. And that's the KC Concepciones of the world, the Denzel Bostons of the world, the Chris Brazzell, that second grouping of wide receivers. I think they go in the 20s. And I know there's been talk, what could the Chiefs get for Trey McDuffie? Well, if they trade the Rams, they'd be getting pick 29. That's essentially getting a second rounder. Now, if they want to talk shop.
Don't the Rams have 2 first-round picks?
Yeah, and if they want to give you a 27 draft, that's
would you take 14 and 29 for McDuffie and pick 9? What I'm saying is McDuffie and pick 9, and you get 13 and 29. Would you do that? You get 2 first-round picks for 1. You move down 5 spots.
That'd be tempting because
I'm
not so
McDuffie,
sure.
but you get a second first-round pick at 29 as well. Isn't that where they are, like 13 and 29 or 14 and 29?
The Rams just have they have got pick 13, I believe, in 29.
Yeah.
So you're saying you trade McDuffie in 9 for 13 and 29?
Correct. Is that enough?
I mean, 13,
I still wouldn't do it. I still wouldn't do
it,
it, but
it sucks because you're in the
I
top
wouldn't
10
do it either,
now.
I don't think.
Because, I mean, they did start Chris Lodick and they got themselves down to 9th, which is tough to then trade back because you're finally in the top 10.
I think it is
but
really
in this
hard.
draft, maybe 13, actually, you can probably get just as quality of player at 13 that you could at 9, unless like a Caleb Downs, happens to be there and you want to branch out from drafting the best available. And you say, you know what, we do have pick 40, but we're getting down to pick 33 or 32. We think a good wide receiver can be there at that point.
I want to ask you tomorrow, Bink, because other than Banks, I'll have you put a list together of guys you think could be surprising at 9 that people aren't discussing. Because I think Falk, based on his measurements, could be that, right? Like they end up.
Keldrick Falk has a ton of potential.
So but not productive, right? Not a productive college player.
But they foresee it. It's banking on projection.
He's a lot like James Pierce Jr. in a way, I think.
Totally banking on projections with him.
Shamar Stewart, I guess, as well.
He's 6'6", about 285 pounds, so he's got that.
Yeah, and has 34 and 3/8 inch arms, so he's got everything you possibly, I guess, want out of a player like that. But I'll have you put together a list maybe tomorrow based on that. But this goes back to
who would surprise you?
Look, the Reuben Bain stuff and the trade today absolutely can have an impact on what happens in the draft, because there are two things today that I think could change what happens at 9 and why these mocks might change or everything else in between. Today, a relatively small trade, probably in your eyes, between the Jets and the Titans took place. They traded Jermaine Johnson, a former first-round defensive end, for Tavondre Sweat, who got mocked to the Chiefs a little bit, former second-round pick, who back up to New York. Because they now only have 2 edge players who are both non-factors, the Jets are taking edge at 2. It's a lock. It's a zero question. It will, in my opinion, either be Bailey or it will be Arvell Reese.
Thanks to Dante Moore.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be Bailey, but that's going to happen. And so they're going to take an edge at number 2. Okay, got it. Now at 4, though, the Titans, Bink, no longer are obligated to take the next edge player. They're not obligated to take who's ever left, Bailey or Arvell Reese at 4. They could take Love. They could take Tate. They could take tackle. They could take lots of different stuff because edge was a definitive need for them too, but they technically have addressed that in at least some way with this trade today. And then Reuben Bain's arms, believe it or not, being that short, is probably going to push him into the teens is my guess. Whether it should or not, the fact that there hasn't been a player since 1999 taken in the first round with arms of that length suggests to me that NFL teams will care. Whether we think they should or not, they're going to care. And so he's not going to go in the I think he will be available to the Chiefs at 9. So if you're the Chiefs fan who wants Reuben Bain, great news today. He is more likely to be available at 9 than he ever has been. Because for whatever reason in the NFL, had his arms been 1 inch longer, he might not be available at 9, and he definitely will be now. And so I look at this as the draft changed today, but I can't pay attention to how it changes, Bink, until after free agency, after the combine is done. I won't get the full picture for another 3 weeks.
That's fair. I think you'll see a rash on them coming out after the combine when guys look at the speeds. I know that cornerback is going to be one of those two that's going to be talked about quite a bit because I do feel there's a tremendous amount of depth at corner now that they weren't expecting maybe to be this year. But you can get valuable corners in the mid rounds if that's the direction that a team wants to go. But yeah, for the Chiefs, obviously it's edge and tight end too. Kenyon Sadiq, that'd be a really getting him a lot earlier. I think that you'd want to do in the top 10, even though that was the popular pick for the Kansas City Chiefs during the college season was still going on. People had Kenyon Sadiq coming out to Kansas City.
Yeah, and look, I don't
because the whole Kelsey situation.
Yeah,
Kelsey, his determination, whether he's told the Chiefs or not, and I know that
I think he has told them, but I could be wrong.
Me too, because this is evaluation time. I mean, this is imperative that you know right now at this point which direction you want to go for tight end because it is such a huge piece of what they do offensively to make the decision up. I know that technically you don't have to wait till the free agency or the league year starts on the 11th, but just knowing at the combine, knowing what to expect and what players to evaluate and put a lot of stock in, you would think this would be one because the tight end is a major position with the Chiefs.
Somebody wants to know now the arm lengths for everyone else. Justin Houston, Holly, D Ford. I mean, I don't know. Beats me.
Justin Houston, I'll give you that one. It was, I think it was in the 30. No, Justin Houston was 34 and a quarter. Or 34 and a half, excuse me, 34 and a half.
D Ford was 32 and 7/8. Does that help you? Are you just trying to say who are the best players in Chiefs history from an edge perspective, and where were they as it related to that? Because different teams care about it too. Tom Holly was 33 and a half. It is short. It does change the calculus. Like it or not, it changes the calculus. This goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, Bink. I don't want the Chiefs settling for maintenance anymore. You had mentioned specifically that word maintain is the way Brett Veach talked about it at the Combine earlier this week. This is not a maintenance year. I think they were able, thanks to Patrick Mahomes, to ride out for a while.
Tombo was 33 and a half.
The average part of what they were what they were as a team, from a defensive line perspective, from a corner, from a safety, all this stuff. It's not maintenance time. It's reset the roster time. You had to do it one other time.
Reset,
do it
buddy.
again. It's reset the roster time so you can build up for the next dynasty. So Patrick Mahomes' early 30s can have a chance for multiple Super Bowl rings once again. I don't want them saying maintain. I don't want them saying we're in that kind of mode or trying to get back to like statistically average. I want them swinging for the fence this draft. I want them swinging for the fence this offseason. That doesn't mean take risk with older players. I want them getting younger and faster and taking risks because this is a good time to do it. You had the three-peat. The following year ended up being, you had a three-peat opportunity. They put all their chips in the middle. They had a massively disappointing year. Great. Build back up from the bottom. Because this will likely be. Don't you think this is the worst season Patrick Mahomes will have as a pro?
100%.
I don't think he'll ever have a year this bad.
And I think when they lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, that was actually set them back for the previous year because you need to hit the reset button probably at that point.
Yeah.
But you kept going with it. Hey, we got to the Super Bowl with this team. Let's see what we can do. Until the wheels fall off the car, how far can we go with this team before hitting the reset button? Now they had a chance with it with some of the coaching staff. I get it. O'Shea comes in. DeMarco Murray comes in. O'Shea had been here previously, but it wasn't under Andy Reid. So is there a chance to hit the reset button instead of keeping status quo? I think one thing with status quo is the players that have played here previously coming back. I think that needs to change to where they don't. And I know there's a love for certain guys to come back.
You know what it is, though? This is weird.
Hitting the reset button means moving on.
Bink, can I say, I agree with you. But I think a hang-up on this is, we, for the better part, since they've drafted Patrick Mahomes, and Drew, you probably remember this just in your time here, or even what people were saying in Cincinnati when they're trying to win stuff. Since we've been here, the big adage has been, how do the Patriots do it? How do they do it? How do they win? How do they maintain? How do they sustain for 20 years? Bink, I got bad news for us. The Patriots brought everyone back. All the time. They loved it. No team in NFL history loved bringing their boys back than the New England Patriots. Coaches, players, staff.
Well, sometimes they would part ways, like a Ty Law and stuff like that.
They'd go, but then they'd come back. Sure enough, a couple of years later, they'd trade him away.
The one constant was Tom Brady.
Back.
The one constant was Tom Brady.
But they brought them all back. They'd bring Josh McDaniel back, Matt Patricia back. They'd bring back Ty Law. They'd bring them all back. They'd bring back Wes Welker. Those guys would leave, and then, sure enough, here comes Danny Amendola's crusty ass. Right back. They'd bring them all back. They never had any fear of it. They constantly lived in a cycle of bringing that player who knew what it took to win, to be in their system. Hell, I mean, like I think Cash pointed out, Josh McDaniel might have coached there 4 or 5 times in the course of it.
He'd go get the head coaching job.
When we get mad that they bring Eric Bieniemy back, that's what the Patriots did for 20 years. They loved bringing people back. So in a weird way, for the copy the Patriots way, they're not way off on that. That has been the adage.
I got to this point, like you'd like to see them go a different direction. Like this is the first time the Chiefs had jobs open because it really hadn't. It was always just bringing somebody back, like when offensive coordinator became open. And obviously, Bieniemy came back, so that's kind of the spot they always do. They bring somebody back. But for the first time in a long time, the job was open. And jobs don't come open with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're kind of grandfathered into somebody else coming back and taking the job. Well, this was the year they did it. But it's just how they're doing it, man. And it's hard to argue with the success they've had. They've won rings. It's not like that plan hasn't worked for them, because it has.
Yeah.
It has worked in the past for the Chiefs, so I understand the wanting to go back to it because it has been something of success that they've had with it. It's not the direction you would like to see them go because you'd like to see them move in a different direction, get more creative, bring in different ideas, kind of like what the Chargers are doing with that offense. The Chargers hit the reboot button with what they have. They have Herbert there and Harbaugh's there, of course, but changing it with McDaniel coming over on offense. So they hit that, obviously the losing meant their turn, but they hit the reset button with a lot of their coordinators.
They're also they did, but
and we'll see how it works out for them.
But they would, once the coordinators would leave again, they would just bring back the old dudes again. It's just so funny. And the Chiefs never hit the reset really at offensive coordinator. They maybe a couple times, right? Nagy the first time wasn't the coordinator, and Kafka, these guys who were doing things or having jobs, they weren't in those jobs before. They got promoted up. They were we're not knocking the Rams for promoting Nate Shieldhouse, the same as we didn't knock the Chiefs for at the time promoting Matt Nagy. But it's funny because they brought Nagy back and now they're bringing Bieniemy back. That is what the Patriots did. Like it or not, man, that's what they did. No, I'm not saying if Spags retired tomorrow, they'd call up Bob Sutton, who is still on an NFL staff somewhere. I don't think.
And the beauty is keeping your coaches intact. Look what happened to the Lions. You lose your offensive defensive coordinator, and look what happens. They didn't make the playoffs.
There's a benefit in it. For the longest time, the Chiefs didn't get picked apart. That might also be, and we don't want to talk about this now. Recently the Chiefs have been struggling a little bit more in the draft, and it feels like the cap's a little bit tighter. They've lost 4 to 5 important front office members from their staff. Brant Tillis was the cap guy.
That's been the area they've been hit the most.
Ryan Poles was a great player personnel guy.
Yeah, and I know
I don't have to say this. They've lost talented members of their front office, and they have not been doing as good in their front office. I don't think that's an accident.
And I know a lot of people look at the draft and they think of where's the great players being taken for this. I will say this, in their defense, they've drafted players that are better than where they were drafted.
Oh, yeah.
Like Creed Humphrey, not a first rounder. Trey Smith, not a first rounder.
And that's a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro you're talking about, yeah.
And L'Jarius Sneed wasn't a first rounder. Noah Williams, by the way, in a lot of these remocks, he's a first rounder.
I know, yep.
So they get him in the third. They trade that fourth. They move down to the third to get Noah Williams, who's
they
been
need to play him more, Bink.
I know. I'm just saying he's got highest paid players at positions, not even drafted in the first round in Creed and Trey Smith. So they have hit extremely well in other parts of the draft.
That might have been the biggest mystery last year, actually, for the team.
Why Noah Williams and Christian Fulton didn't play more?
Why Noah Williams, Christian Fulton, and even Rashard Smith to an extent. Why were they not getting any chance, especially not
defense was still performing.
Not Rashard Smith as much, but especially Noah Williams, where when we looked at the metrics, he was better than Trent McDuffie at covering wide receivers, which we know Trent McDuffie is one of the best at in the league.
Because Williams, it's still my favorite pick from last year's draft. I went into right after the draft happened. No Williams. We brought his coach on from Cal. No Williams.
Drew, the answer
it's still
is
my favorite pick they made.
The defense was still working. Defense never really lost its edge. They
still,
played well,
but that doesn't mean that
Rashard Smith. I mean, that makes no sense.
Sure.
And if they had the Noah Williams on offense, they would have played him. If they had a player like that playing at that level at running back, wide receiver, tight end, that guy would have gotten on the field on offense. I think the level of defensive ability they had consistently probably made it hard for him.
How do you look at Worthy? Do you look at the this lack of production that you saw this year from injuries?
I got no idea what Worthy is.
I think the injuries bothered him a little bit more than what we think.
Yeah, I think they did. But he fell off. And he had opportunity. Opportunity was there, and he didn't play as well. I think he's a complete unknown. I don't think it would be – here's the problem. I don't think it would be crazy for Xavier Worthy to have a 550-yard season this year. I don't think it would be crazy for Xavier Worthy to have a 950-yard season this – I don't know. I do not know. He is an unknown, in my opinion. You don't know anything. Mm-hmm. You got to go into the season saying – we don't know what level of play we're getting out of Xavier Worthy. He could be a pure number 2 Devonta Smith type. I thought he could be that from the beginning. He could be McCole Hardman's third year, in which he just kind of flatline.
Well, hopefully they can get the real talent out of what he is.
Yeah.
And use his skill sets to what
I still think
that's Chad O'Shea's job, I guess.
It is to bring out what he's great at.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody's job.
Because he was forced to do things that wasn't his best.
When we come back, there's an awkward situation brewing in the NFL, and one Royals player I feel like we're penciling in a little too quick. I want to talk about why that is. We'll do that next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Oh, hello. It's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. I love numbers. Like 100, as in 100%, as in TaxSlayer's 100% accuracy, guaranteed. And 0, as in $0, as in it costs $0 to file and get the refund you deserve with TaxSlayer Simply Free, if you qualify. Simply Free is available to a limited number of taxpayers with age, income, credit, and deduction restrictions. See TaxSlayer.com for eligibility requirements. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Football season is officially over, but the offseason is just beginning, and 96.5 The Fan will be there every step of the way. We'll have people at the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll be at Arrowhead during free agency. And yes, we'll be live in Pittsburgh for the NFL Draft in April. One of the biggest off-seasons in recent history is underway, and there's only one station you need to listen to, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Rob Brenton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We're excited to launch Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana and Parks. This is about Kansas City, not about soccer. Telling the story of how our town ended up hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, plus video clips on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
Subscribe to Beyond the Pitch KC on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're looking for more NFL draft coverage, go subscribe and follow the Character Concerns podcast with Bink and Chris on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. What's trending? NFL Combine continues today. Defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers all getting measured. We've been joking about it throughout the show. Ruben Bain's measurements came in not great. Caleb Banks, however, came in massive. So
yeah, the dude is a freaking monster based on his size.
If it's
Holy
measurements,
smokes.
he's like Chris Jones size. If it's measurements alone, a couple of guys moved up and down the draft board today. So we'll see. Wide receivers, running backs, all of the ones that you might be interested in seeing. Those all take place this weekend over on the NFL Draft Combine perspective. So we'll keep a closer eye on those throughout, you know?
Number 2 on What's Trending. K-State, they fell to Colorado last night, 79-70. Game wasn't as close as it seemed. They were down big and they came back.
They scored 18 in a row, then had 18 in a row essentially scored on them.
Currently tied for last in the Big 12. Did you see after the presser?
It was bad.
Jerome Tang, his name has been brought up for a third consecutive game again, even though he has not coached for them in 3 games. It's certainly It's interesting how his name continues to come up. I think a lot of people who cover the team are over it because I think Matt Driscoll said something along the lines of, well, the players are still playing for Jerome, and everything with the mindset started at the Houston game where Jerome Tang was still the head coach. Like, his name continually is being brought up, even though he's been gone for a week or two now.
I read a really good article on his contract situation and the way it's written in the language that essentially he can be fired for cause for pretty much any reason that the AD saw fit in Gene Taylor. The problem is it says any reasonable reason. You want to imagine getting to court and trying to argue the reasonableness? It could take years. They're both just trying to shave K-State's trying to shave a few $1 million off of this thing. In the end, they're still going to have to pay Jerome Tang something.
For sure.
There's just no way to do it.
Did you perk up a little bit when you hired Tom Mars to be his attorney? The guy that represented Harbaugh, the guy that got Chambliss that extra year of eligibility. Jerome Tang hired the dude that goes after the NCAA. So
he's going to go after. He's not going out with a fight yet. Then
he's been winning those cases against NCAA too.
So when he hired Tom Mars, I was like, okay, he's serious.
That's funny. Next up on What's Trending, Max Scherzer is returning to the Blue Jays for his 19th MLB season. It's a 1-year deal worth $3 million. Is expected to get a big league spot at some point. That's probably why he's taking the discount. 19 years for the former Missouri Tiger.
Insane.
That's a long Major League Baseball.
Is there anybody you've ever seen that's more intense than Max?
Oh, no.
When he's talking to himself, don't even want to go out there and pull him out.
I did see.
If you're a manager and you go that mound, chances are Max is going to fight you.
I saw, for whatever reason, he's a really funny answer, Drew, to this. So if you guys were following the Olympics, if you meddled in any way, you got these jelly cats, the stuffed animal things that they were handing out as a part of it.
Why are people making a big deal? They've done that for years.
Oh, I know, but people were noticing it partially because the Canadian women's team looked pissed
the way they were
as they got it.
But they've always it's stupid. But they've always done it.
So I saw somebody ask the question, which was, who would be the funniest athlete in a losing situation to hand these to? And they were like, Max Scherzer.
Yeah, maybe.
Could you imagine?
Maybe.
He might rip the head off the thing. If, after losing a game, you tried to give him that stuffed animal, he'd be pissed.
Did anybody see what Connor McDavid did to it? Because
I did.
I saw Nathan McKinnon was very, very disappointed. He looked like, what the heck is this?
Because McDavid's very intense, so I was just curious how that went over.
I didn't see.
With his stuffy.
I didn't see. Next up, go ahead, Bink. You do it. Number 4.
NBC likely to let go of Tony Dungy on their broadcast as they hit the reset button. Tony, I know that you can.
Is it only Dungy, or is Rodney Harrison potentially?
Could be a lot. Dungy's the only one they said so far.
But they'll hit the reset
and Jack
button.
Collinsworth, I think.
I think not.
I'm sure a lot of people
saying
want
who
him.
you voted for and Belichick. I think that matters. But he didn't bring really anything to the table as well.
Here's going to be my suggestion.
Tony, he just didn't bring
I like
that
Tony Dungy, but
analysis
yeah.
Here's my recommendation for NBC. Try, and this is hypothetical because I know they haven't done it to this point, try to find anyone who has an actual personality.
I mean, Travis Kelce would probably be on their top of their list.
Personality would probably be a good thing to do. Lastly, on What's Trending, the Jets have traded defensive end Jermaine Johnson to the Titans for defensive tackle Tavondre Sweat. That, according to multiple reports over at ESPN.
It's great. The next thing you want to see out of the Jets is trading for a quarterback.
Yeah, they might.
Because without a quarterback, he can't play football.
I mean, they still have Justin Fields.
I think they're going to end up being
He's still considered a quarterback.
He was benched
Kyler
in
Murray
November.
or something.
He was invited to the Pro Bowl, but he said no. But he was benched in November when Fields was benched. I think it was November. Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think they'll be the Kyler Murray team. I think
they'll trade for Mac Jones.
We'll see. Yeah, I really think the 49ers might not do it because they'd have no stability or certainty with their guy either.
And they need a backup quarterback being next to that power plant. Still, the guy's hurt.
We're going to talk. Yeah, I love that story so much. We'll talk some Royals baseball coming up here in just a couple minutes.
They're buying into it. Their players. They buy into it.
From the 816, they're asking us, have you seen the price of CAG's rookie cards? I have not. Are they going for a lot?
I have not seen the price of CAG's. By the way, speaking of text line, someone jumped the stoplight, they said, when you gave out the cadence.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Someone also said the other day when Cody gave his original one that Juwan Taylor false started.
That's pretty funny. I have not seen what let me know, text line, what the Jack Caglione rookie cards are going for. I do have
a couple hundred, maybe.
From our Cody and Gold road trip, I do have a Jack Caglione autographed first Bowman. Is that worth anything? Just sitting at home.
Who do you think?
I was going to put it in the garage shop. We didn't have
I see a CAG's a Topps 1991 anniversary rookie card signed is on eBay right now for $225.
Doesn't CAG's need to be on the Matt Strom show? Is Matt Strom still doing his card show? Because Matt Strom is like the biggest card collector. You see
they have so many on the team, dude.
Matt Strom had a card collection show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so, Kegs needs to be on that card collecting show with Strom.
Yeah, we had him sign some stuff that we were going to put in the garage sale. So, like, I have multiple. Not even kidding.
Kegs
Jack Caglione, Bowman, First Auto. I don't know. One of them's a refractor. I don't, but we're just sitting on them because there's nothing to be done.
I think it's great. I think it's great when guys have hobbies like that, man. Just, why not? You're part of it. There are cards of you.
I think it's fun. Yeah, it is fun to kind of.
He's got the money. Go do it. Did you see where he walked in and bought everybody there, like the staff and everybody a box? Kegs did.
Oh, good.
He went to a card place and bought everybody a box. Which kind of duty is.
That's cool. That is cool. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit, or just talk more baseball coming in a little bit. I want to talk Maikel Garcia before we get to what I think is, and Drew, I think you'll agree, pretty awkward situation happening in the NFL right now with one of the teams in the AFC. But Maikel Garcia, I want to preface this by saying I am high on Maikel Garcia, and I anticipate him having a good year. Buster Olney put out his ranking list of every position group and had Maikel Garcia as the 5th best third baseman in all of baseball. He is coming off of a career year. He only had Caminero, Ramirez, Bregman, and Machado ahead of him. Ahead of all the other guys you might have heard of. Bo Bichette, who got a ton of money. Max Muncy. Big named guys. Correa, right? Big name guys that he had above him. And I guess my only thing is, even though I'm high on him, is should we be proceeding with a little more caution on Maikel Garcia? He's got one massive back of the baseball card year. That's last season. 2 years ago, he was pretty bad, if we're being honest. He got knocked out of the leadoff spot despite playing 157 games, hit only .231 with a .281 on base. He was really bad for the first half of the season. He was really good for the second half of the season. And then 2 years ago in 2023, he hit .272 with a .323 on base, but only 4 home runs, only 50 RBI in 123 games. So he, by all accounts, has had a meteoric rise to stardom. He got good in a hurry, Bink. He got real good fast. And so, part of me is always like, can I just see it for one more year before I just pencil it in? I'm very high on Maikel Garcia, but I just feel like everyone's just saying it's like set in stone. I didn't know if we should be operating that way.
I mean, that's fair because you always want to see if a guy can back up that potential. Because I'm curious about Bubic. We saw what he could do last year. Like, you saw exactly what he can do. Dude made his way to the All-Star game. Which is incredible. What do you do? Can he back it up? And I think that's the way with Maikel Garcia, too. And I think you're a product, too, of an infield that's damn good. You don't always have that pressure on you when you get to the plate. It's Salvador, it's Vinny, it's Bobby Witt Jr., and it's Maikel just there. And I think people sleep on Maikel Garcia. And honestly, I think the Royals winning the division or not comes down to how he plays.
You think
it comes down to somebody like Maikel Garcia backing up what he did last year.
I think it might come down to Cat.
And the pitching staff not taking a step back.
I mean, they were close to a playoff spot last year. And, here's the thing about the pitching staff, because I've seen people ask questions about that. Why? For back-to-back years, under Brian Sweeney and this pitching staff and the players if anything, the bullpen got deeper based on the signings they made and based on the emergence of guys like Avila for the second half of the season. So the bullpen got better and has performed multiple years in a row. There's no reason to think, can one guy have a down year? Sure. Seth Lugo had a worse year than the year before. They were still a top 3 rotation in baseball, even with that. Even with having the guy who finished second in the Cy Young the year before dropping back. They got the arms. They got the people. They got the ability. I don't worry about the rotation. I don't worry about the bullpen. I'm not saying things can't go south or a million injuries can't pile up, but they are what they've been the last couple of years. Maikel's 1 year. It is legitimately 1 year. The one thing, and this is the point I think the text line's making, 816, Maikel does feel like he's built for the sustained success, though. And I think that's the part. It didn't feel, the way he had his season didn't feel fluky. You and I have watched fluky seasons from a football perspective, from a baseball perspective, where you're like, Brady Anderson's not hitting 50 homers again next year. Where the hell did that come from? We know he's probably juiced.
You just depended on him. Every game, you depend on Maikel Garcia. Every time he stepped the plate, you expected good things happen.
He
got into that category.
Big time player.
And we'll see. It's up to the Carter Jensens of the world and those type of guys to, stand up and shine and, kind of carry this team. Who's going to be that guy? I'm just curious who's going to be the next Chris Bubic. That's always kind of, I just learned that.
Who do you think is going to be the next step up guy in the rotation, you mean?
Who's going to be that guy that steps up that you thought was good, but you didn't think that good? Because he turned some heads last year with how good he was at the beginning of the year.
He openly admitted it. He did an interview with Vern last week on the Hot Stove Show, which, by the way, is coming up tonight. He's got Bobby Witt Jr. and Carlos Estevez joining the show tonight.
Pretty damn good show.
But if you want to go back and listen, Chris Bubich was on the podcast last week. And in the podcast, which is very good on his show, on the Hot Stove Show last week, he had said, I surprised myself. I wasn't. He's like, that's as good as I've ever pitched.
He definitely surprised the front office.
He was like, whoa. Like, even he was a little aback. He's like, okay, well, then how do I... And he said he tries not to say the word repeat in the sense that every year's different and pitches are different, but like, how do I make sure I could do that again? Because Chris Bubich knows what we all know. And this is where guys, we talk about contract years in football, probably more in baseball. If Chris Bubich pitches for 30 starts this year, the way he just pitched for the Royals during part of last season, one, they are a playoff team, no doubt. But also, he is going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. He has everything to gain by pitching that way. He could get 150, 250. He could get a lot of money, Bink.
Oh, he could, because you look at Reagan's, and you don't know. You know the potential's there. Can he stay healthy? Can he put a full year together? Seth Lugo, you getting the guy before, and then when he came back, it was rough for Lugo when he came back. Michael Wacha seems to be that just the guy you can count on to be who he is Michael Wacha, because he doesn't really change or fluctuate a ton.
No, he's stable.
And Chris Bubich, yes, have the backup year that he had last year. Noah Cameron. Can Noah Cameron be the player that he was last season? I think there's a lot of question marks. I think Wacha probably brings the fewest for a third starter.
Yeah. But also, like, they are as deep as anybody in the starting
Lugo
rotation
should be,
in
but you just don't 100% know.
I guess some of that is just, I don't know. Some part of that is, do they think things have finally caught up to him from a starter standpoint? I think the blister thing's real. He had issues with this. And it sounds, baseball's weird because we have to forgive little injuries, things that do not stop football players from playing football, things that not, and you have to understand that because baseball is such a timing-based sport, it is such a perfection sport in everything you do. The back spasm that shouldn't stop a wide receiver from having a big day can change a hitter's approach. He had a hard time with this. He had trouble with his fingers. And if you can't get that, you can't get a grip. What did he do in the back half of the season? Where was the problems? Kept walking everybody. His pitches were flat. Of course. Like, there's a reason why players go on the injured list in baseball. Because they've got, damn dry skin has an impact.
Just that little thing.
You know, I know it's stupid and we don't want to give them credit for them because it makes them seem like not athletes. Like, I gotta say you can't pitch because you got a hangnail? The hell are we talking about here? It impacts pitchers. It just does.
Should I put in an injury report for tomorrow? Because I am dealing with some dry skin on my legs a little bit. Should I put in an injury report and say, you know what, Coach, I can't go today?
I gotta say, my hands have been terrible this winter.
I know.
I can't put enough lotion on to make them
crazy.
Not feel scratchy.
You use lotion?
Yeah. Bink, you don't use lotion on your hands?
Bink, do you use...
Let me see them. Let me see those hands.
Hold on. Not on the palms, on like the top.
I don't use lotion
at all.
Drew you don't use lotion on your legs or anything like that. You don't use you don't get dry skin on your legs or anything like that either.
Well, Drew takes baths. So.
Drew, do you take a bath?
Yes, he does.
No, okay, hang on. Let me.
Did you take a bath or you regularly take baths?
Most people take showers.
I do
Drew
not.
Drew takes baths.
No, I regularly take showers. Every now and then, I will take an Epsom salt bath.
He grabs the rubber duckies and has a bath.
With whatever I got going on.
Oh, okay.
Give me some bubble bath.
Epsom salt baths can be very good for you. So every now and then I will take an Epsom salt bath. Yeah.
How are you not using lotion?
I just don't use lotion.
It every day.
This time of the year,
arms, legs,
especially
hands?
This time of the year.
I don't use lotion.
Yeah, don't let me on 785 saying y'all ashy as hell. Don't leave me out of this.
We are not Kevin Durant. Bink is, because I use lotion. Cody uses lotion. Like, I deal with dry skin. Like, I have lotion. I put lotion on, like on my legs. Like, I put lotion on. It's just that. I think also living in Florida and in a humid climate, I didn't have to put any lotion on in Florida. It was perfect. The humidity was so high.
Do most men wear lotion? I don't know. Text line.
I think so.
Do men wear lotion?
You need to.
Men?
You need to
making this a men or women thing now?
I know women wear lotion, but do men wear lotion?
Bink, you need to hydrate your body.
No, you don't. I take a shower.
You're scaly. Bink,
You drink enough
you're
water?
scaly. Come on, man. You can't be scaly out here. Or
Bickley's
ashy.
body's just topper with
You can't
no
be like
water, no
KD out
liquid.
here where you see.
I take showers daily, and yes,
That's fine.
That's
That's fine. I mean, I don't use lotion. Are you talking like strawberry lotion and stuff?
No, you just get some CeraVe lotion and rub it on your arm, on top of your hands, on your legs. Like what? Like your body doesn't get dry skin.
Somebody says, why are baths catching strays? Now someone's like, what the hell?
The very next text is, you sound like an old man. Your Epsom salt baths? Yeah, they can be very good.
You take bubble baths?
You got to use lotion.
Use bubbles?
I do not use bubble baths.
He just said Epsom salt. I don't think you'd do bubbles and Epsom salt.
Yeah, you just do the Epsom salt baths.
All right, let's get to the NFL for a minute.
Jeez.
We'll stop with the lotion and bath talk.
Yeah.
on Cody and Gold. For the rest of the show, maybe even, Drew. We might have to take a break.
Probably a good idea.
There is what I think is a perfect encapsulation of why bad teams stay bad and why you should not just be like, well, they run an NFL team, Cody. They know more than you and Bink. Sure. Because I saw something this weekend that proves how idiotic NFL teams are. Because if they knew this, they made the wrong hire, and we already know it. Tom Pelissero was at the Combine, or is at the Combine. He's talking yesterday in a radio interview with Mike Borgonzi, who is the Titans GM, and said that then Giants coach Brian Daboll tried to talk the Titans GM Mike Borgonzi out of taking Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick. Now, I will say, some of what happened here is like, well, then maybe we'd have taken him instead of Jackson Dart. They're going to try to hide it behind this lens, Bink, of, oh, no, we wanted you to not take Cam Ward so we could take Cam Ward. No, he didn't like him. Let's just face the reality. He didn't like Cam Ward. And they're going to, again, they're spinning it like, oh, he tried to talk him out because he wanted Cam Ward down lower. I think genuinely that this is a sign of, and the way that this works is, it's just going to be awkward. You're trying to take him out. You're now coaching him. They're going to spin it as this positive thing. I think it's a negative. I think that he was trying to talk him out of it by saying he was bad because he actually didn't think he was good. Not because he was trying to hope he slides down the draft so they could take him instead of Jackson Dart. They took a different quarterback. They liked their quarterback in New York. And now he's going to try to make it seem like he's always liked Cam Ward better than Jackson Dart and everything else in between. And that's just a lie, Bink. I think it's a lie.
It's obviously a guy, and that's his thing, being on offense and what he did with Josh Allen when he was in Buffalo, that you're not taking a quarterback unless your head coach probably has some input. It's like when Mahomes was taken by the Chiefs. Everybody argues Dorsey or Veach, and it was Andy Reid. Andy Reid selects the quarterback if he's going to be coaching the quarterback. Daboll, these things come back. And when GMs do this and they pound the table for a certain player over another player, this comes back. It's why when guys get into broadcasting, when they're spending a year or two doing and then they're getting back into head coaching, you ever notice they're very careful on what they say about players because they can end up coaching said player in about a year when they take their next head coaching job or which direction you're going. But yes, that would make it awkward for an offensive coordinator to, he's going to have a change of heart, I guess. He's just sitting there and watch film with him, and you know what Cam's always going to bring up.
I feel bad
you didn't
for
like
Cam.
me.
They tried to spin it like it was a good thing.
Cam.
Like he tried to talk him out of taking him number 1, Drew, because, he really wanted Cam Ward to slide down.
Yeah,
so it's one of two things. He's either saying he thinks Jackson Dart stinks worse than Cam Ward, or let's be honest.
And either way,
he's friends with Bergonzi, and he was like trying to do him a solid and be like, Cam Ward at 1.
And either way,
I don't think I'd do that.
To your point, either way, like let's say that was even a thing. You have to. How do you convince Cam Ward of that? Because if I'm Cam Ward and I hear that, or I see that, or someone of my teammates is like, dang, this is how this guy feels about you. I don't know if there's any convincing you can give me. Like that being out there, I don't know if there's any convincing that you can tell me that you actually truly believe in me as the quarterback. I feel bad for Cam Ward. This kind of stinks. His teammates have, like Jeffrey Simmons has backed up Cam Ward a ton here over the course of this past season, his rookie season. He was like, yeah, I think he's a good guy. I think he's the guy. I think he can make all the throws.
He's going to go back to tendencies and everything. He's going to go back to what his tendencies were at Miami or back at Washington State. And he's going to look at those. Daboll's going to look at those. Well, you still had those tendencies going forward. And this is why that I was hard on you through the draft process. So, yeah, this thing usually doesn't end well.
This is the problem I have with it.
It's tough.
Brian Daboll, every time he does little things like this, or you hear little stories like this, he's the kind of coach who can't ever take accountability. Wasn't his fault he was fired in New York. It was Daniel Jones couldn't play. And then they got him Jackson Dart and I really wanted Cam Ward. And then when Cam Ward fails, he'll be like, that's not my guy. Get me someone else. No accountability.
No, he's the
never
guy,
makes anyone better. Everyone
says,
else is never good enough. I'm great at my job. I kick ass.
Yeah.
Nobody else never takes any accountability for other people being.
But he always says, "Look at Josh Allen. Look at what I did with Josh Allen." And he comes back that, "Look what I did with him," even though he wins the MVP without him.
Look at what Josh Allen did with him.
Brian Daboll still, to
that,
me, goes down as one of the worst coaches on the Chiefs coaching staff in the history of this team. He was the offensive coordinator, and I think people forget it. He was the offensive coordinator in 2012. Brian Daboll. When they did not have a lead, 9 weeks into the season, they were being compared to the 1927 Buffalo Bison. Brian Daboll.
There absolutely is something to
an accountability thing.
I think, look, there are very good coaches and everything like that who coach with great players, but there are a lot of great players who make coaches look better than what they are, and maybe that's the case with Brian Daboll. I mean, we'll have to see with Cam Ward, but because let's say Cam Ward still, for whatever reason, just can't quite put it all together and all these other things, then I think that further diminishes Brian Daboll's ability to not evaluate the quarterback position, but in comparison to what we're seeing with Joe Brady, like it will, because we do this with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Well, was it more Tom Brady or was it more Bill? If Brian Daboll struggles a little bit with Cam Ward or can't figure it out, then it was definitely all Josh Allen or more Josh Allen than it was Brian Daboll. And I think that's part of the, because it feels like Brian Daboll's kind of been listed up at, not the quarterback whisperer, if you will, but it feels like he's a guy that does well with quarterbacks and has a history of that because people look at what they did in Buffalo with Josh Allen. But I think the tale can.
Turns out Josh Allen just ruled.
I was going to say, I think the tale could be changed here. If Tennessee doesn't look that good on offense, then it's more of maybe, Josh Allen was just that dude, and he would have been good with any coach, any OC.
I got to be honest. I understand he took a year. He took one of the single greatest leaps from an NFL quarterback's career ever. This is why Brian Daboll's employed.
Well, yeah,
because quarterbacks
he
never
gets the
make
credit for some of that, for sure.
No quarterback has ever, and quarterbacks very rarely take the kind of leap he took, where he was bad. He was a bad quarterback. He was a bad NFL quarterback.
Gunslinger, yeah. Picks
and
everywhere.
he was an MVP winner now, right? Like he took a huge leap forward. Dude, it wasn't like, in retrospect, Daboll's the guy who only wants to take credit when things go well and never wants to take blame when things go wrong.
That's where you should have the problem with it.
I will give Andy Reid credit for this. Andy Reid will take every ounce of blame you will let him take. He'll say, I called a play wrong. I chose wrong. I didn't put him in a good spot to succeed. He will take, even if he doesn't mean it, he will take blame. He will fall on the sword for every single person. Brian Daboll's the opposite. And for an NFL head coach, I don't ever want the opposite of
That's why he's not a head coach anymore.
I don't want the guy constantly blaming
Is it
people.
fair on these first-round picks, the number one overall pick, to keep going through different head coaches?
No.
Because these guys like, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, the Caleb Williams, whenever the coaches are gone. Like, let's not forget, Cam Ward was selected. It's a new head coach who is second head coach going forward. I think that just sets people back. And with Cam Ward, he's already dealing with the second head coach, and now he's dealing with an offensive coordinator that didn't want him.
I can't
with
remember.
the New York Giants, so he's double hit.
Is that the conversation we had with Caleb Williams? Because there was a quarterback recently that we had where it's offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator.
Ben Johnson
after
clearly made a difference with him.
Sure.
I've pointed this out.
Ben Johnsons of the world are just not out there.
On the show, I pointed this out 1,000 times, Drew. The current trend in the NFL is to keep the existing head coach, take a quarterback in the first round, ruin them, hire a new coach, new coordinator,
new system,
and then ruin them again. It is an awful trend. Yeah. It happened in Chicago, Tennessee, New York. It has been half of the NFL recently has gone through this transition. And it's a really, really, really bad idea.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. And it just goes back to the same thing that this offseason highlighted in a really big way, which was these GMs have the ear of the owner, and they are able to do what I just said with Brian Daboll. Put the blame on literally anyone else for being the problem but them. By the way, the person who hired the head coach, made the draft picks, chose the people in place,
Bills GM, no blame. Sean McDermott, all the blame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
similar sort of thing.
Cleveland's been awful for years. They gave the GM in charge there is the same GM who traded for and paid Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
And he's out here being like, they're the problem, not me. Nothing to do with me. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Like these GMs are able to get away with some convincing everybody that they are allowed to run out new coach. They're allowed to draft the quarterback in the first round, but it wasn't that the quarterback they took in the first round that was the problem. It was the coach who they hired. the players that they put around him.
Somebody mentioned with Jalen Hurts, too. I think Jalen Hurts is another really good example. He's gone through a gauntlet of offensive coordinators. No wonder they can't get it figured out.
I think it's 5 years in a row.
Yeah, that was the one.
That was Baker Mayfield when he got in the league.
No wonder he's not having success, at least as far as consistency goes. His best year was probably with Kellen Moore. They won the Super Bowl with him. Ironically, he was too good to... He became a head coach.
Is there any reason why the Chiefs didn't go on a dynasty when you had the same head coach and the quarterback that was taken? And you see what happens.
I don't know.
Viable head coach, viable quarterback.
And didn't follow their model at all, which was established head coach, established quarterback, draft the guy. Wait, it didn't. And look, Patrick Mahomes would have been good if he started his rookie year. But, develop, make sure you're good, and then turn the keys over. And same offensive system, established head coach, stable, offensive system they understand. And instead, they're doing the opposite of that. Some coach who's already, we all agree, should probably be fired. Let's let him keep the job for a year. Then fire him in the middle of the season. So really what happens is they're on coach 3 and coordinator 3 by the time they get to year 2 of the NFL somehow. It's crazy.
And if you feel like you're going to fire your head coach, go ahead and do it before taking said quarterback, because these quarterbacks are essentially giving those coaches an extra year because, hey, we got a rookie quarterback coming in to the system. Let's see what he does. Can I address the text line for just a second?
Yeah, sure. On the lotion thing or something else?
No, Bink, do you wear deodorant? Yes, I do.
Along the lines of that same topic, though.
Well, I mean, that was a question.
I guess that's like a personal care,
Yeah,
yes,
that's more of a hygiene thing. I guess, putting on lotion.
Lotion,
no,
deodorant,
kind of hygiene,
yes.
but
yes, I do.
Would you take a hammer to your face to look Max? That's what we talked about the other day on the air. There's people who are taking a hammer to their face to try to sculpt their face.
It's a current trend, Bink.
With a hammer?
Yes.
No.
I'm not making this up. This is a real trend.
Terrible.
Doesn't shock me. But no, I would not do the hammer.
Just trying to figure out, where we land. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Chiefs offense as it relates to what they've been doing recently, because I think they see it differently, and there seems to be a disagreement about what the Chiefs meant when they were talking about a certain part of their offense. Plus, the random question of the day coming up next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in for the Fan Club every Friday at 1, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again. So call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
He got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Drew Brees here. Whether you're on the field or on the road, having the right team on your side makes all the difference. I learned that the hard way. On the field, you don't go anywhere without a solid O-line. And when your car breaks down, you want that same kind of protection. That's why I trust CarShield. Their protection plans help you tackle expensive repairs so that you're not blindsided.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey guys, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here, and I want to invite you out to the first ever Drive Pop-A-Shot tournament on Wednesday, March 18th at Draftcade up in the Northland. All you need to do is listen into the show to qualify on Monday, March 9th, and also on Tuesday, March 10th, and you could be taking home the title of Kansas City's Pop-A-Shot champion. Rob and I are going to be broadcasting from Draftcade starting at 2 o'clock, and the tournament gets going at 6:30. The Drive's first ever Pop-A-Shot tournament, Wednesday, March 18th. Your home for Kansas City sports, right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Back here on Cody and Gold. 90 minutes left in the show. Cody Tapp, Jay Binkley with you.
Would you like a chew, Cody?
No, I'm good.
I didn't offer one.
I think I'd probably puke.
I didn't offer you one.
I've never taken a dip.
You guys always offer me a drink
or a Zin
on Fridays.
Yeah. On Friday.
Do you want one today, Bink?
What's
a
that?
drink?
A drink?
We usually offer those on Fridays.
Oh,
we don't do that every day of the
I
week.
thought we always drank at one.
Well, that's what I thought you were saying.
So we have NFL Network on in the break, and then we'll get to the Chiefs RPO thing here in just a moment. We have NFL Network on during the Combine, and the cryon at the bottom of the screen said, Mike Vrabel, I stay in constant communication with A.J. Brown. I looked up some of the quotes on it. He said, I've watched him grow. I've watched him mature. I'm proud of him. That has nothing to do with where he plays or where he played. We reach out and text each other. We are in constant communication. First question I have is, can he do that?
Well,
I'll be honest with you.
You're taking a thin line there.
Is that not tampering?
Well, it's a former player. Like Macklin was a former player with Andy Reid.
And he wasn't allowed to text him.
But A.J. Brown played for Mike Vrabel, of course, at Tennessee when Vrabel was at Tennessee. So
he said they text each other about life events. And I understand.
You're definitely walking a thin line, I think, when you make a comment like that, though, because it can be bought as one way, but also the way that you said it.
Well, it feels particularly important based on the fact that right now A.J. Brown is on the trade block.
Feels tamperish.
No, for sure. And Nick Sirianni this week said he can't even guarantee he'll be on the opening day roster for the Eagles. So it feels like of some importance, Drew, that he might be texting his pal. And Stephon Diggs is reportedly maybe not a guarantee to make the roster. Do you connect in some dots here?
Oh,
Stephon Diggs might not be a Patriot.
To connect,
A.J. Brown could be traded.
It smells like college football and transfer portal crap.
And look, I don't really care. I actually think you should be allowed to tamper.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I think that as an NFL, I think Andy Reid should be allowed to text any player on any team and be like, screw that team, come play for us.
Yes.
Demand a trade and come here. I actually think that's how the real world works. Drew, you go work at a new radio station, you can call me and say, screw that place, come work for me. Like, it's how everything else works. I actually am pro tampering, if we're being honest. But it does feel like he's saying something maybe he shouldn't say.
If it feels that way, I do. So let's take it real quick. Let's take it like he actually is telling the truth. They don't talk about, hey, come and join us over here, but they do keep tabs on each other every now and then. To that extent, you would think it's okay. But then you look at, like you said, the parallels and the other dots that are around. It's like, okay, well, A.J. Brown is not that happy in Philly. He could be on the trade block. Nick Sirianni already said we don't know if he's going to be there. You're asked if you talk to him and you are in constant communication, it sounds like, with him. There might be something going on here, but I just like the timing of it. And I don't know if that's how the question was phrased, but are you interested in A.J. Brown? I don't think he can flat out say yes, but the way that he answered it definitely makes it seem like,
tamperish.
Yeah, we're still cool with each other. And there might be something that comes in down the line. Like if A.J. Brown gets traded to the New England Patriots, then we'll look back at that moment and be like, well, it makes sense given that, but does the NFL look into it at all or anything like that?
They need to work on an offensive line in New England. That'd be their first priority.
Is that actually something that
they gave up 21
NFL can
sacks
suspend
in the
Vrabel?
postseason?
Like how exactly would that work? Or would they dock a pick? Or like if that tampering
It depends on if he ends
out.
up there. If he ends up there, who knows what happens? I guess they could look at it when the NFL gets bored.
You think so?
I just don't remember what the penalty actually is for those sorts of things.
Possibly a draft pick.
Look, the Chiefs, and they're one of the few teams ever. They got docked because he texted Jeremy Maclin and was essentially like, come to KC. And he was going to be a free agent, but he was not yet a free agent. And so as a result of that, they got busted for tampering.
And A.J. Brown is not going to be a free agent. Like he's still on the team, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Still under contract.
So yeah, this would be worse than Andy's situation even at that rate, or the Chiefs situation.
Yeah. And so that part of it just feels sketchy. I'm not going to make a huge deal of it now. I'm just curious to see if anything comes of it. I'm mentioning it now because it just feels like a thing you can't or shouldn't say that you're in constant communication with a player who actively plays on another team, who might also be on the trade block, who also used to be your player. It just feels like if he gets traded to New England, it's going to be hard to imagine that it didn't have anything to do with the fact that he's not tampering because they're friends, but couldn't anybody claim that?
By definition of the rule, he's under contract with another team, which clearly is through the end of 26. You can't tamper.
What
they
is
determine tampering?
Because this is the problem. Do they have a rule set aside for we're boys?
Can lose.
You know what I'm saying? Like
fines, draft picks, a lot of things could happen.
Tampering NFL.
Because based on what Vrabel said, again, let's say he never said come to New England and play. For them to be in constant communication still, it feels fishy, but it feels like a gray area that wouldn't get exposed, I guess. Like if they traded him to New England and they look at Vrabel's phone and he never said come to New England, it was just, hey, how's everything going? Like he's catching up. It feels fishy. But is there any way that you can prove that he
said he talked to him? I don't need to prove anything.
Yeah, but if he actually, let's say Vrabel's telling the truth and it's just, hey, how are things going? How's life? That alone is not anything that's considered a violation. But the fact that you keep up, A.J. Brown's probably more likely, since you keep up with that individual, to go play for the player or the coach that he recently played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it feels like the dots would connect, but if he doesn't say. If Vrabel doesn't say, hey, come to New England, do they get away with it? Or how exactly does that go? Which, again, the fact that it's the Patriots as well in this situation, if they weren't to get docked, it would also be a part of the New England Patriot way.
The Chiefs were
does the tampering only relate to pending? I don't know.
The Chiefs were fined $250,000. Reed and Dorsey got fined a total of $100,000, and they lost a third-round pick.
It was a third?
A 2016 third-round pick and a 2017 sixth-round pick.
The third rounder is big.
He's a smart guy, so you probably can.
There's a way to weave around it.
Yeah,
I still think the fact that it involves New England, if they found a way to get away with it, and it was the New England Patriots that got away with it too, would just play into the shady business, if you will, of the Deflategate, the Spygate, all of that stuff would just factor in. Well, it's the Patriots. So.
I'm just trying to find an article that says this is the 2014 agreement that said under the new agreement, coaches and players cannot talk shop under NFL agreement. So they could talk about life, maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if they're just talking about life, but
how's that not tampering?
But the trade is it feels fishy. Like there's a gray.
Does it count as talking about life? You'd be like, does your family like Philadelphia?
Yeah.
What do they think about New York? You ever visited?
That would cross the line at that point.
How's life treating you? Yeah. Well, I didn't get the catches I wanted. They didn't throw.
Oh no, I wasn't asking about that. Just in general,
How the kids? How's the wife?
I don't know, man. I'm asking.
Going on vacation this year?
It just feels like. May I suggest upstate New York? Lovely this time of year. See Niagara. Get some wings. This is what
the Chiefs said during that. They said, while we respect Commissioner Roger Goodell in the process, we believe that the penalties proposed in this case are inconsistent with discipline enforced in similar matters, particularly given the league's inconsistent communication of its policies on contact with potential free agents. This one, he was going to be a free agent that happened to be before the legal tampering period. There's not a guy under contract with another team.
Somebody says next thing you know, they'll run into each other at a ski resort. Remember that happened with Tom Brady and who was it? Does anybody remember? It's like, oh, no. We just, oops. Does anybody remember?
Man.
Oh, it was Stafford. It was Stafford. When people were questioning whether he was going to be available. That's what it was. He was obviously trying to recruit Stafford. I mean, let's just not be idiots. He's been a cheater his whole life. All right, so let's get into the Chiefs part of this, and then we'll get to the random question of the day coming up in a little less than 10 minutes. Over the week, they were talking a little bit about their offensive system, and some people took a quote from Brett Veach to mean they're going to move off of the RPO game and instead revamp their offense in some way. Some, like Jesse Newell over The Athletic, took that to mean, no, they're not changing anything. They aren't wholesale change team. They were just talking about the things that work. And I guess the question is twofold. Do we want RPOs to go away in this offense or lessen significantly? And do we actually think they'll do it? The answer to do I want them gone? Yes, I'm done. It is not an effective operating system for an offense with this too high shell safety stuff everybody's doing. It makes your offense hard. It makes it have to be mistake-free. Andy Reid's teams have never been mistake-free, so it doesn't work. I think it is outlived its usefulness in the current NFL, and everybody's going more traditional sets, run right at you. We're running, we're passing. We don't need to pretend under a guise. But the problem is, I don't know that it's going to reduce as much as I think, because I think the Chiefs feel differently about how good their offense was last year than I do. I think they see advanced metrics say, we moved the ball, we got yards, we got points. Some of this all worked. It was just these little things that got in the way. We don't need to get rid of RPOs. It's perfect. And I think that that's a mistake because I don't think they work.
It's something they utilized a lot with Mahomes.
That's
what he did at Texas Tech. This is why they had that early on success, was doing the RPOs. That's something the quarterback makes that decision. You trust your quarterback. Should we run? Should we pass? You trust the quarterback to make that decision, what the defense has given you. But the defense have gotten so much better. They give you one look and they slide into something else.
Yep.
You think that open running lane is going to be there and quickly.
Yeah, Chiefs are good at using motion.
What you thought you had.
They're great at that.
Is not there. But they have had success with it. Do I think they'll 100% go away from it? No. I think they'll still utilize it in some way. And I do think it comes back in the NFL if you're totally trusting your quarterback in making the right decision. That's why they go through practice all the time. Run, pass. Got to figure it out. Got to read the defense. Know what they're doing. But I think the defenses have changed so much in disguising what they're doing. It is very tough. You think you might have an open running lane, and you quickly don't.
I think it's crazy to see the way the Rams, who used to run a lot of RPO in their system, just essentially run like power I. And I know they're not doing that, Bink, but under center, runs between the tackles, like the football you and I watched in like the early 2000s. They essentially just ran back the clock for when nobody cared about you trying to go deep because nobody tried to go deep in the NFL. And know that you're facing the lightest group of box in the NFL. And they couldn't throw either. Think about this. They weren't even a particularly adept passing offense, and they still faced the most light boxes against the rush attack than anyone in the NFL. So unless they draft Jeremiah Love, I don't think there's going to be a significant change in that. Until the Chiefs prove that they are willing to run it when they're supposed to run it, not choose an option between the two, I don't think people are going to believe it. I think that to get rid of that out of their offense is crazy. I'm not insane, okay? I get it, Bink. They're not going to just eliminate what has been the core principle of their offense pretty much since Mahomes got here. But to say doing it less is not that crazy. I don't see why that's an insane ask.
They utilized a lot of the short passes and extension of the running game. They weren't getting the runs that they needed, so they were using the pass to kind of supplant what a running game can get you, and that's something you want to see go away. Surely Jeremiah Love, honestly, that would probably change things. Being a running back for the Chiefs
a lot of fun
should have always been good. Like when Mahomes in his heyday doing his thing, I mean, you weren't facing 8 men in the box. You weren't facing a team trying to stop the run. You were facing a team trying to stop the pass. But if they can get back there, have that explosive running game or the threat of an explosive running game or passes out of the backfield, whatever, but as long as they predominantly want to run the football out of it, it'll change things. Not only that, it'll open up things for Mahomes down the field too. So much more.
Like, I guess here's the question, and whether RPOs are successful, and it's just a personnel issue, not a scheme issue. All right, here, I'm going to give you the top 5 offenses in the NFL. You tell me, Bink, you follow this very closely. How many of these teams regularly run RPO as a part of their offense? The Rams, they went all under center. They completely changed the way they operate, so it's not them. Seattle, that's a run set team. That's a classic run set team. Play action. Buffalo, they went more under center than they have in the entire time under Josh Allen.
They changed completely from what they used to be.
And so, like, do you see the trend here? All these teams who did at one point, did operate some RPO, have shifted off of that to a point and gone more power run scheme because everyone backed up so far in the field. And this is Mahomes' fault, right? This is why I'm a little annoyed they didn't adjust as fast. All of this, the running back trend in the NFL, the play action, the less RPO, it directly ties back to the Chiefs. When the entire NFL decided we're going to run defense the way Tampa did against Kansas City in that Super Bowl, and they're like, ooh, what if we just run 4 guys and send 8 back and put 2 safeties so far back they got no choice? The entire NFL shifted at that moment, and the Chiefs didn't shift with it, which was interesting to me. And I think largely it's because the offense never stopped moving the ball. But I think the biggest difference for me versus what they say is, Bink, I've never had their offense look harder. Not that it never worked last season, because I think that that's also kind of a lie. It was the most painful, like watching it's like watching those old Big Ten basketball teams where like, I know you're successful. Like Wisconsin used to be like, they used to have a successful offense, as in a shooting percentage. It was miserable to watch.
Pace of play was the slowest maybe in the country. They would score about 50 points a game on a regular basis.
That's kind of what it felt like with like that's the comp I would give Kansas City's offense. It's not like on a per play basis.
They did it by
never
small,
worked.
but they did it by small chunks.
Yeah,
it wouldn't just go out and get the first down right here, go down the field, get 25 yards, 25, 30 yards.
Shoot a 3.
It was getting the first down and slowly getting chunks of yards.
Can I point
It wasn't explosive because they did not have explosive players. Should have, but they didn't have them. Pacheco never lived up to the 4.37 guy he was.
I think that's part of the drafting players that are and playing players that are high or that are the best caliber. Not for like because we've talked about this before. The notion that they play the players they trust more than the more talented player. That's where you get into a little bit of the problems, I think, in terms of the peak, ceiling of the offense. Where if you're playing players you can trust, but they're not gifted as much as the other guys who are not playing.
Juju?
Then your floor is higher, but your ceiling is lower as an offense.
So I'm gonna point out a stat I think we brought up like 3 weeks ago on the show. I don't know if you heard this one or not, Bing, but it brings up what you're talking about, these chunk plays. Warren Sharp put out this stat and how you score points. So 2025, just this season, so small, not small because a lot of games got played, a lot of drives happened, but if a drive had 0 plays of 15 plus yards, so the Chiefs model, we're gonna get 4 yards at a time, 20 plays down the field and kick a field goal. Only a 16% score rate altogether and a 6% touchdown rate on those drives. If the drive had just a singular 1 play of 15 or more yards, 61% of those drives ended up in a score, 36 ended up in a touchdown. It's not complicated math. Can you get 1 15-yard play in the drive? You'll score 60% of the time. You're going to touchdown 35% of the time compared to 16 and 6. 1 singular. Like, you got to find a way to be more explosive on offense, I guess, is the key, which they might. They very well might this year. And some of that might come in the draft at 9 and all that other stuff.
Well, you can, but you have to have capable players to be explosive.
I do think that there was a personnel issue. I'm not denying some of it was
and
personnel.
guys that didn't play to their explosive, like Xavier Worthy should be an explosive player.
He should be. That's the part.
He should be very explosive.
That's the part.
Tyquan Thornton proved he was explosive because they were utilizing that speed, and he was doing things that he wished Xavier Worthy was kind of doing those similar things that Tyquan Thornton was doing.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they've got some time still to get it right, but it just doesn't feel right still.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Bink. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. And, of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show every single day. Like and subscribe over on YouTube or Twitch. Pop to the top of your feed and see where we broadcast. You can get a picture of Bink right now. You're like, what's Bink look like? I don't know that I've ever looked. Now's your chance over on YouTube and Twitch. Question I have for you today is about broadcasts of these games, because there was a story out yesterday from Pete Gradoff saying that the Royals might use drones in part of their broadcast coverage this year. We saw a lot of this in the Olympics, these last couple of things. And I guess the question I have for you now is, how often is it when you're watching these broadcasts and they do an alternate view? do you find yourself actually enjoying that view? Because I got to say, I think they had the TV angles right at first. And every time I got to watch like that floor cam in the NBA where I'm just seeing feet, or that one above the kick returners where I can't see where anybody's going, I think, why the hell are we even doing these angles? What is the benefit? I like that one sky one where they show like Bijan juking 90 people after the play.
Like the social media videos that come out. Those are sick.
But live in the game, I don't want to see it, Drew. For live action, the angles they already have are perfected. I need no new angles of the game in action.
You don't want to see a drone over that slide of the plate?
After? Sure. While it's happening and I can't tell where everybody is on the base pads?
After's different, yes.
No.
Yeah, the instant replay value of those angles is great because it gives you a different thing. But
live in the broadcast, do you ever enjoy them when they change? Like, it's not the half-court shot in basketball. So it's like, what the hell am I looking at here?
Yeah, it's the one, but they do it, and I'm sure they'll do it again. March Madness, they are kings at it. They'll have the camera on the floor that moves along with the ball.
But you can't see what's happening.
Correct.
Because in basketball, I need to know who's setting a pick, who's on the outside, who's in the corner.
Some of those are cool, but I think that there's an extent to which it is too much. I guess for the Olympics it was okay because, like for instance, the luge and skeleton and bobsled, they would have the drone start behind the sled and they would follow them as they go, just to give a little bit of a different angle instead of the quick little 2-second shot of them flying by. Those it's okay, but if they did, I don't know, if they did football or something like that, yeah, I agree that we don't need those types of angles live, at least.
It's all fun until a drone falls on a player.
Like
I mean, that obviously would be
You remember
the
when
worst
he got his finger cut before a playoff game on a drone?
He also got
a drone
one
stuck in KC. Yeah,
he got one stuck in a tree.
He got one stuck in Swope Park here
in
in
the
Kansas
Royals.
City.
The Royals clubbies were out there helping him get it out at 2 a.m.
I hope he tipped because helping the opponent player get their drone unstuck from a tree.
Yeah, Bauer liked drones.
I was at the game when he threw the ball over the center field fence. Tried to get it from the Royals Pro Shop. They wouldn't sell it to me. They said they don't sell opposing teams' embarrassing moments. They showed it to me. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't sell it to me. He stood at the pitcher's mound.
If you're a body
and
drone,
after getting mad at what happened in a game, it was getting pulled from a game. He threw from the pitcher's mound.
Yeah,
a baseball over the center field wall.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is an insane throw.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a drone?
No,
I've never used a drone.
Never used one.
It's not been tempting.
Still paper airplane,
Kids don't
I guess,
want
at this day. Or
kids don't want a drone?
They've never asked for one.
Really?
They ask. We could talk about it, but they've never asked.
Desmond's
his engineering.
I think it'd be cool to have one in here.
Cody's son is interested in basketball.
For different angles of the.
Let's get when we get the new cameras installed. Let's get a drone angle for everybody in here. What were you saying? His basketball skills? Make him an and one mixtape
instead of the drone. If the being interested in a drone, it's the basketball. But I mean, hey, if we made an and one mixtape, I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
Someone says I hate when they do the camera behind the catcher. Just give me the traditional center field cam,
like the cam, where they put the camera on like the GoPro.
I like when I like the GoPros.
I only like those as like I watch it after, like, ooh, look how hard it was. In live action, the thing I like about sports is it is your job to like understand that there's a lot at play, right?
Yeah,
like in football, right? You get to see, because if I get like some, let's say I got a GoPro on the ref and he's just right behind the quarterback. Well, then I might not be able to see if the offensive line, if the guy jumps off sides, if the offensive lineman false starts, if someone's in motion. Like all of that is like a part of watching, like you trying to predict and guess what's going to happen. The second they go to those alternate angles, it narrows the view. And I feel like I just don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe it just makes me sound like an old man.
I know the quarterbacks all use the VR now. They sit with the VR mask at practice and they can look and see who's in what position.
I know they say a lot of. Was it Caleb Williams? What was the quarterback they said used it a lot this year?
Jameis used to use it a ton.
Oh, Jaden Daniels was the one who had a whole story written about
the VR where you can see what the offense looks like in different formations.
I did. I tell you what, I did not. We had JJ Piccolo on Tuesday. Well, he would not agree to let me stand in live against a real major league pitcher, probably for liability reasons. He did say he would let me hit off of their batting cage machine that is designed to replicate major league pitchers.
I love that.
I can stand in a batting cage and have to face Cole Reagan's slider.
Woo.
Would you hit one?
So future social media, no.
Out of 10, would you even like touch one?
I don't think. Not unless it was, we're giving you 10 fastballs that are down the middle.
I was going to say, if it was a fastball, I think you have a shot of touching it. But if we're talking sliders or like
at
splitters,
93 miles an hour, I don't think so.
I think by the time you get, if you only got 10, maybe not. But if you got 100 pitches, 100 fastballs,
100, I could probably hit
then you would
I
get
take breaks. My arms would get too tired. And I
then
really
you
have
would
no
get
chance.
contact at some point. But if we're talking slider or splitter or something like that, that's where the way the pitch dives off of.
It's like the toughest thing to do in sports. Hit
in
a
the
baseball.
angles. Yeah.
Somebody wants an
It
NFL angle.
looks so easy with those guys, but it's the toughest thing in sports, man.
For what it's worth, I think NFL Network, or at least the big NFL packages and postgame offer this, which is, and at least it's maybe on one of the prime ones, the all 22 angle. They're asking for the Madden angle. That's the all 22.
I think Prime does that one.
Prime, right?
I think Prime
Vision's awesome.
One of the streaming one does the all 22.
Prime Vision,
where you can see like the whole field.
I do think, because to your point, Cody, I know we got to go to a break, but the kickoff cam you're talking about where they're running towards the camera is stupid. Put the camera behind the player and show me where they're running. Then we can talk a little bit more. I like that idea.
You know what I like? I love the pylon cam. I love the pylon cam.
Yeah, that one's fine. But again, they don't show that live.
No.
They cut to that after. I like post-production, not the other. When we come back, Nate Taylor said we should already be penciling something in. Should we? And what does that mean for the Chiefs offseason?
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Spring savings start early at Lowe's. Get a Cobalt 24-volt max leaf blower for just $99. It's powerful, lightweight, and ready to go. Plus, get 4 bags of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil for just $10. Don't wait. Get everything you need to start on your spring projects today. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/4. Soil offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tabb, Jay Binkley with you. Drew Nixon on the other side of the glass. Jay will be in tomorrow as well as Alex heads to the I was going to say, what was I say? Land of what? What do they call themselves in Canada? Land of what?
He'll be at the when you going to the game? You said the Canadians game.
Yeah, he's going to the Canadians game tonight, I think.
In his USA. So did he get it?
No, it didn't come in time.
Oh man!
So he's going to return it.
Probably to his benefit. I think a lot of us are. We're going to be a little bit worried about. What
that would have been great.
Dude, after Mike Palm came on the show yesterday and said a Canadian woman threw an ashtray at his head, was that not enough to convince him?
I would have thought so.
Because I think in his head, he's not picking a fight, but that's absolutely what he was doing. He was picking a fight.
Him showing up in Team USA gear to a game that Team USA is not playing in, but just to tick off Canadian fans, which he admitted that was the reason he was doing it.
That's so awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Mad respect for that.
Bink, you already know that somebody would try to go out. Somebody would get mad at him.
I'm not saying he was going to get in a fight,
nature.
but it was
you know what?
Have
you ever seen Gold fight?
No. Gold's never been in a fight.
I don't think I have either, but.
You've never been in a fight?
No, I've never seen Gold fight.
Oh. I was like, you've never been in a fight in your whole life?
I'd be surprised.
I was like, even I've been in some fights.
Gold can scrap, can he?
I don't think so. I don't think Gold's mean enough.
How many Canadians could he beat up?
To fight and to win in a fight. Like the last fight my older brother and I ever had, because he was bigger than me my entire life, he was older than me, kicked my ass a number of times. The last fist fight we got in, I had a chair over my head. I said, I'm going to hit you with this. And he said,
Good move.
We're fighting. You can't hit me with a chair. I said, to hell I can't.
Yeah.
I will hit you with this chair. These fights end now. I'm not going to just stand here while you whip my ass every time we get in a fight. I'm going to defend myself physically starting now.
Being resourceful.
So, we got no choice.
How much ass have you kicked, Drew?
I've been in 3 fights that weren't brothers in my whole life.
I haven't been in any fights outside of like sibling stuff, like with my brother.
Yeah.
I used to be the one more so that got my brother ticked off than it was my brother ticking me off. I think it was the older brother thing. I would punk him in a basketball game or something like that, or I would do something on purpose because I knew it would aggravate him, and then he would come at me, and then we'd start throwing down a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of fist fights with the brothers.
I haven't fought my brother in a very long time. I can't tell you the last time that happened. Probably when we were like 12. No time.
Oh, we were older than that.
I don't think we got into the.
I don't think
we got into the teens where I think we calmed down a little bit.
But it was definitely less. But so yeah. Anyway, just curious. I've been in 3 fights in my whole life, Pink, that weren't with my siblings.
3.
And none in a very long time. Not since I was a teenager.
Really?
I got to adulthood and I said, you know what?
No more.
I'm not gonna fight.
Well, you're a
anymore.
teacher now.
Yeah, I can't be fighting
Professor
people.
Tab.
I did lines out. Somebody's responded to me and are looking into the possibility of me running in the hot dog derby during UMKC night. I will report back.
You should. It's UMKC night.
When I hear.
Bink just mentioned Professor Tab. Today's Thursday. You don't have a lesson?
Well, I didn't have a lesson for today because I thought we were going to do. I didn't plan one for today because I thought I wasn't supposed to do when Alex was skipping. But we could do a lesson. We could do a Friday lesson if we want.
Just do what a lot of teachers do. Show a movie.
Show a movie. Outside of that, maybe a little bit different. Let's talk some Chiefs football, and then we'll get back to why Bink. I think he said something similar last year, but has something to say about the NFL Combine as it relates to the draft here in about 5 minutes from now. But Nate Taylor was talking about the Rashee Rice situation because, I mean, it can't be ignored. It's a big part. But the way he was talking about it on the shows earlier this week was that you might as well just pencil in the fact that a suspension is likely for Rashee Rice. And it made me think the Chiefs have to operate this entire offseason like Rashee Rice isn't a member of their team. And if you have to operate that way, no offense, wide receiver is now the number one need, and it's not defensive end. If Rashee Rice is not a member of the team, the weakest unit by far is wide receiver, unless you are incredibly high on Xavier Worthy, or you think they're going to go sign some high-priced free agent. There aren't that many good wide receivers in free agency. There's some good ones, but there's no great one. Or you got to trade for a wide receiver. You got to do a lot of different things, Bink. Because if Rashee Rice, you have to pretend like he's not a Chief, or he's not a Chief for at least half this season, or he's not a Chief for 3/4 of the season, or hell, a quarter. And you're going to miss him for a big chunk of time, which I think is likely at this point. Well, then how can wide receiver not be highest of priority? You're going to go into a year where Mahomes doesn't have anybody to throw to?
Well,
coming off a major injury, that seems like a bad idea.
It's very simple. Who's the best player on this team, on the Chiefs?
I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes, yeah.
Yes. Easy answer. Patrick Mahomes. So you have to think of the mindset. How does this make Patrick's life easier? Well, they have, they worked with the offensive line. Clearly, after the Buccaneers Super Bowl, that became a priority to upgrade the offensive line. Clearly, they've tried to work on the offensive line after what happened against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. But again, that's thinking Patrick Mahomes. I remember the draft was here in Kansas City, and you're sitting there saying, okay, because the first night of the draft, obviously defense, and then the second night, you're like, okay, let's get offense. And they did with Rashee Rice and Wadney Morris as the only offensive players they selected when the draft was in Kansas City. It's like, okay, think of Mahomes. Now, I understand you already had guys here on the team like Kelsey, like Tyreek Hill, predating Mahomes, so you didn't have to worry about weapons right off the bat for Patrick Mahomes to make his life
There were some
easier.
built-in ones, yeah.
But what is
Kelsey in his prime,
what
too,
is the
Tyreek
biggest
in his
asset
prime.
of your team? Why won't you build around the biggest asset of your team so that in 10 years, when let's not pretend this town went without a quarterback for decades.
Yeah.
Between Lynn Dawson and Mahomes, there were some wins. Trent Green getting some wins, and
there were some
Bill
good
Kenny made
quarterbacks.
the Pro Bowl.
Isn't that though the reason why they're
Bill
not
Kenny
though
made
is
a Pro Bowl?
the reason why they're not though.
Bill Kenny actually made the Pro Bowl, I think.
The reason why they're not like helping him, and I think the same conversation kind of went back with Aaron Rodgers at one point, but it was they banked on Patrick taking advantage of everything else. So they built the defense and they built the offensive line. And they knew that Patrick Mahomes was going to come through for them because he was the best player on the team. I think that's what they've banked on here of late. Like,
and you know what? So
can,
did the Bills. They had the number one scoring defense, and how many titles do they have?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. And Patrick Mahomes has been their saving grace essentially in a way because of the way they've built that team is they could bank on Patrick Mahomes doing that. And the
defense could be the reason why they get to the playoffs. Mahomes has always been the reason
they end up winning the whole thing. Yes. And you can rely on the defense, and they can be the biggest reason why you're in the position you're in, but you know that the quarterback will always deliver. And I think now, for the first time, this was the year that we saw it not really come to fruition because the defense was a little bit off. The offense didn't. It looked way harder on offense, and the offensive line was relatively good when they were all together and healthy. Then things kind of fell apart. They weren't winning close games. It felt like the cracks were already kind of being shown in the way that they've built these teams here recently. They were starting to show. And now it does feel like the question's warranted. The problem, though, is that like if you were to take this crop of wide receivers in the draft and compare them to 2027, is Carnell Tate going ahead of Jeremiah? Like where exactly do the wide receivers rank compared to next year? It's almost like it's not a bad year necessarily, but it's not as good of a year to need a wide receiver.
Instead of talking about Tate
next
number
year.
one, you're talking about behind Jeremiah Smith. Who knows what's going to happen with Ryan Williams? But you're sitting there, maybe he's the third or fourth.
And that's where trading for a guy potentially comes in.
Where would he have been last year? Let's say Lemon, would he be ahead of Ted McMillan?
Ted has the size, so it'd have been tough.
Or Egbuka? Would those guys have gone ahead or no?
Lemon would have probably been in the conversation more. I think
Tate was same team as Egbuka, so it would have been interesting.
I'm just asking, like, where I think that they're probably on par with some of those guys.
I don't know.
Here's the one thing, and I think sometimes you got to talk when you talk about like the Mahomes part. You got to talk about it from the both sides, like what happens if it goes wrong, but also like obviously what happens if it goes right. If you get this pick right, you correctly identify a number one wide receiver for Mahomes. It's a wrap. He has his number one wide receiver for the rest of his career. We're done. Do you realize how appealing that sounds?
It is.
The idea of having the number one wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes the rest of his career.
Because
at this stage, drafting it correctly, that's almost what you can get.
Yeah.
His number one target's been Kelsey. And Kelsey,
he's not gonna have that.
It's not 100% that he's coming back. It probably is. But even if so, he's 37 years old. Who is the guy for Mahomes to lean on the rest of his career? Who's going to be that guy? Rice certainly looked like they were on the same time. They were doing the back shoulder fade. They were doing some things. He was down at Camp Pat. It looked like that was going in the right direction, but you can't depend on that. Clearly, we know that at this point. But who's going to be his dude? You got the quarterback. Who's going to be his guy going forward? Now, it's been Kelsey. Kelsey with Alex Smith. Kelsey with Patrick Mahomes. That's worked out. But who is going to be that other offensive star that quarterback has to lean on? So when 15's on the field, who's he throwing to? Who's that reliable source? Like Jamar Chase is for Bro. Who's that guy that you have to depend on for the Chiefs going forward? And you can't bank on a 37-year-old tight end at this point. You need to start thinking about the future and your quarterback that you're paying $500 million to. Who's going to be his dude?
So would you consider they would be the one, obviously, if you get picked at 9, or at least they'd be T1 with Rashee or whatever, but let's say they move on from Rashee. If they're a 1,100-yard wide receiver guy, is that enough to say he's a true number? Like, or do you want the guy that'll put up 1,500 with like a Tyreek Hill, the guy that'll put up 1,600 with Patrick Mahomes. Because I don't know if there is that guy in this draft, Bink. Do you think that?
Well, they like spreading the ball around.
Maybe it's Jordan Tyson, I guess, but like, do you think that any of those guys that are in this three,
healthy, that's the biggest thing with Jordan Tyson.
Are there any of those three guys that you think can be a 1,500-yard guy?
Mekhi Lemon, I think, can be.
Here's the thing. This is the one part about it.
I think Mekhi Lemon is sneaky good.
I think multiple of them could be Drew. It's not likely, but there's not a single person.
Do you have to bank on it because of the limitations?
There was not a single person pre-draft who was saying JSN was going to be that. None.
Sure. Yeah.
Not a one.
He went, 20th?
They were talking about that being the weakest wide receiver draft class in a decade.
Yeah. I will say this.
And he was the first one taken at 20, and he's the best wide receiver in football, one of the 5 best wide receivers in football.
Mekhi Lemon's comp is a lot to Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is the main comp for Mekhi Lemon going forward.
So you would
take an Amon-Ra St. Brown with Patrick Mahomes.
So based on the conversation that we're having from the standpoint of Patrick Mahomes needs a number one guy, somebody that he can rely on for the future, and if you hit the most likely person that would fit all of those categories in your mind's Mekhi Lemon then.
No payoff is better. No player, in my opinion,
100%.
Not a single player they can take at 9 comes with a greater potential payoff if you're right
than the wide receiver position.
Even more than defensive end. Even if you get defensive tackle, like let's just say you took Banks. Even if you get that really, really, really right, the payoff is great. It's tremendous. Not unless they're Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons. If they're an all-time hit, well, then by that same thing, then if Mekhi Lemon is Randy Moss, we can have. The payoff is greater if it's right, if you're just normal right. They're a Pro Bowl caliber player. It has the biggest single team impact if you get it right at wide receiver for the longest amount of time for the team overall.
But that's what
is my opinion.
That's why I think they're in a really weird spot because obviously, and it's weird because being at number 9, you would think that this is a great spot to be in. But in a way, it's good. But also, you feel like they need a wide receiver, but the wide receiver crop isn't as like. Could you wait until 40 and take a wide receiver, Bink? Not that you get necessarily the same output, but you could take a second round guy and they become a 950 at the very least, or 1,000-yard guy, and then you still pick the defensive end. Or
it takes projections.
Are you in such a dire need for that position, like we're talking about, where they almost have to settle for a wide receiver at 9 and just hope that it works out?
Or settle. People forget that JSN only played like 3 games his last year at Ohio State. He had that lingering hamstring issue. Played 3 games.
He's the one that had the 300-yard game in the Rose Bowl, right?
He had a great year his sophomore year, but he came back his last year at Ohio State because of injuries. So it was projecting that this dude's a stud and he can do good things throughout the NFL. You put him with a good quarterback. Obviously, Jaden Maeva with USC, what they were able to do on offense, that offense worked well. And Mekhi Lemon was playing much bigger than his size. And that's all I care about because you know what? MVS played a lot smaller than 6'4". A lot smaller.
I've talked about this on the show. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill played like a receiver over 6 foot tall, even though he's not even close to it. He played bigger than he was.
Yeah, I agree.
And the one thing about Lemon that you like most is his last 175 targets has 3 drops. That part, and he beats man, and he creates separation. That part is very appealing.
You're describing the problems they have in offense last season. And I get this. Like 913 said, how can you say Lemon is sneaky good, but then people are comparing him to St. Brown? Let me give you a little tip on how NFL draft comps work. There ain't nobody in this world comping them to average NFL players. They never do.
No, never.
Nobody
in the first round.
Nobody looks at some second round defensive lineman and been like, my comp for him is Mike Dana. No one does it that way.
Yeah.
They don't like, and maybe they should, right? I don't know. Like maybe they should.
They mention the potential more than they do where they think they could be.
The comp of the style of player they would be at their peak. That's essentially how the comp.
Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown gets brought up a lot because he's the same height, and they played at the same school.
Yeah, stylistically,
they both played at USC.
Sure,
and so naturally that comes up.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. I assume that's part of it. Bink, you do love the combine. I know you love the draft. I think you mentioned this to Alex when I was gone in a day last year. So now I'm curious. Are you officially on board? You want to ask us a question as it relates to the draft? Let me hear it.
I will ask you a question because I brought it up last year, and I'm curious because it keeps growing every year.
So you want to see if it's changed?
Like the hype keeps.
I wasn't here for this conversation last year.
The hype keeps getting bigger. Let me use this example. Remember the NFL schedule when it came out? Like back in 15 and 16, they would just put it out, right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget we did the boss at the point let me do a late night schedule release show. It was on like after the Royals game, after Vern. It was like after everything.
There we go.
But he let me do it.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't a big deal. It was just the schedules are put out, and it wasn't a big deal. But it's constantly gotten to be a bigger and bigger deal. Now people are hitting refresh all day, week 3, because every like Fox and CBS, they all put out a game on their morning show, which game is going to be in which time slot or whatever, and keep people get refreshed. Well, we still don't know who are playing in week 6 and 9, but people care about it. They care about the schedule. I think the combine and the draft is becoming an animal all of itself. And I think the NFL machine keeps on rolling.
The combine's not. I don't know anybody who really likes the combine other than just like people who love.
You'd have to tag that with
I
the
don't
draft.
watch a single second of the combine.
But
I work in sports
But
radio.
you pay attention to it. When the Bain numbers came out, that became a story.
It's all social media stuff,
don't
though,
I?
is what Cody's saying. Like it's all social media. Like you'll find the good clips of the 40.
But the interest is there.
Sure.
And the interest is there more than any other thing in a lot of sports. And what I'm saying is,
how much?
People laughed at last year when I said the combine. Well, I meant the draft, not
the draft. Yeah.
You throw the
you
combine.
think the draft
combination
is a top
of the two.
5
I do.
sporting
top 5
event
sporting events
in the world or U.S.?
in this country.
Okay, I was about to say let's if we
You
narrow it to
think-
this
hold on,
country, I don't actually think he's right. I'm just saying, like, if he had said the
in
world,
this country,
then we're
I think
crazy.
the NFL draft is a top 5 event that people are talking about,
So Super Bowl's
attending,
ahead of it.
obviously,
So
and talking about. I think the NFL draft, and it used to not be this way. It used to not be this way at all, but it's becoming more and more prevalent for what people are thinking. People have their opinions.
Are you going off of numbers?
Mock drafts are going like crazy. They used to not be anywhere near like this. It's exploding like fantasy football did. Now you can bet on it. You can bet on over and under when players are going to be drafted. You can bet on the combine over 40 times. You can bet on bench press. You can bet on a lot of things.
We're not just too close to this.
Are you going off of eyeballs, like how many people watch Bink, or are you
We're
like
talking about? I mean,
are you
the
actually
conversation, meaning you go to the grocery store, you go to Hy-Vee, and if people want to talk sports with you, or when Cody goes and jumps line, and someone says, "Hey, Cody,
Jump line?
since you're jumping my space here, can you at least talk to me about the NFL draft? Which direction you think the Chiefs are going?" I guarantee you've been asked about that question. I would say you've probably been asked that question at least 10 times, where somebody in your inner circle, family, friends, whoever said, "Who the Chiefs going to draft this year, Cody?"
But I think they asked me about the Royals too.
Well,
now here's the problem.
Bink,
when you talk about across the board, it's a little tougher because I don't often have regular conversations about like World Series Game 4 with people on the street, but people do ask me about the draft. But I just it's weird because like when you think about like everybody watching and consuming it, I would still say the World Series is higher, or the
March Madness is higher, the Masters
March
is higher.
Madness.
Yeah, and I love the Masters, but you're not getting a bunch of arguments on if they're taking Scheffler, Justin Thomas. But you're getting arguments over Ruben Bain or Bailey or Mackay Limit or Carnell Tate. Which direction?
That's because the NFL draft is a 2-month thing. Then is what you're talking about. If you're talking about, I'm talking.
Oh, it dominates from the Super Bowl
Hold
on.
on. But if we're talking about the event, the 4 days that the draft is, or the 3 days, that is not a better event. If we're talking about only the 3 days, it's not a top 5 event. If we're talking overall expanse of topics, how many things in sports are talked about for 2 months? The Super Bowl is not even talked about.
Would you say the
NFL?
NFL, honestly, just the NFL is the biggest thing in this country. Biggest sport is the NFL.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that
your team
that doesn't
is
mean
built.
that the
Your
event
team
for
is
3
built.
days.
Your team is built.
There's no
on
action.
what happens at the NFL draft.
Sure, but there's no action. There's nothing to watch. There's no comeback victory. There's no storyline other than who got picked number 1 or who a bust could be.
I'm just saying this,
it.
and for the text line, dogging this or whatever. Okay, how does 650,000 people show up on the streets of Nashville? How does over 400,000 people come to Kansas City draft? How does over 1 million people show up at the NFL draft in Detroit? They're expecting over 700,000 people in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. People have been talking about the draft. They're talking about the combine. They're talking about what players their team's going to get. I think this event is a lot bigger in discussions among fans, friends, talking about which player your team's going to get, which direction you think you go, than what people are talking about with other sports.
Bink, the Masters is so big, they have a lottery for you to get tickets. You can't even get in.
I get that, Drew, but I love the Masters too. But how many people, though, seriously, I mean, I know we all like the Masters and all that, but are people really discussing it in droves?
If they let 2 million people into Augusta National,
there'd be 2 million people.
There would be 2 million people in Augusta National. There'd be more people there.
How
than the
many
NFL
of your
draft,
How
I
many of your
guarantee you.
neighbors are talking about which direction the Chiefs are going to draft, or talking about the Masters?
During the week of the Masters, everybody, tons of people are talking about the Masters. Again, Bink, we're
I
not
would say
talking
the
about
conversation
2 months.
is longer in the draft. I'll
Yeah,
give you
because
that.
the event is 2 months. Bink, if there was only one thing that mattered, and it was the Masters, if that was the big tournament, that was it. People in golf would be talking about that like it was a big deal. But
you don't do a Masters sounder 2 months out. You do it one for the NFL draft sounder.
No, I understand.
When you play your
Bink,
siren.
But again, we're talking about two different things. A mock draft is not the event. That's not the NFL draft. The
It's
NFL,
interest
The
instead of
NFL
event.
draft is
It's
3 days.
Interest in which direction they're going to go. I hear people talking about the draft all the time. You've heard it too, Cody.
Are we too
Defense,
close, though?
offense, the whole argument.
I mean, think about our line of work. Are we too close on this? Are you sure there's not just more people talking about beast games than the NFL draft, and we just don't know?
There probably
I just
are.
think because of people, the
Love is
NFL
blind,
draft is right up there.
Then the NFL draft, and we're just too close.
Bink, in terms of entertainment,
I think the Masters is a much more entertaining thing, 100%.
then I think that has to be included in the equation.
The entertainment value?
The entertainment value has to be included in whether the event is better or not.
I always look at
The
what
draft
are
is
the
interesting
what are
night
the,
one.
what are
It's
the
very
interest
interesting.
level of people? What interest level do they have in their favorite NFL team grabbing said players or heading up to training camp in droves, in the thousands, to see the draft pick of the recent NFL team, the draft parties in NFL stadiums, the mock drafts people are doing, the fact that the combine's on and people give a damn about Ruben Bain's arm length.
If you offered everybody that went to training camp, would you rather go to Chiefs training camp or go to the Masters at Augusta National?
Well, that's,
I think all of them.
Don't ask me.
Or a bulk majority
way too
of
much
them
to training camp.
would say go to the Masters.
well, just
in a
answer me this.
heartbeat.
Just answer me this. Are more people talking about that or the NFL draft?
The NFL draft because it's
Okay.
a 2 month conversation.
Drop
Bink. The
mic.
Masters is 1 week.
Your Honor, I'm done with my questioning.
We're only talking.
That doesn't matter.
We're really hung up on the Masters. Are we sure that we don't want to just like bring up like
The World Series.
because by that argument, the World
global.
Series, I get to talk about the World Series during the entire Major League Baseball playoffs too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I get the run-up.
Bink,
Yeah.
the World Series
If you
is
get the draft
a
run-up,
global
well,
event.
But in fairness, he said top 5, so he might just say the World
No,
Series is bigger.
I understand that, but I think from the concept of the event being global,
yeah,
the
that
draft
helps.
is not a global thing.
Is the Masters global?
As much, I think it's more global
Than the NFL draft?
I would think so.
93.
Because of all the European players that play.
93.
And Rory
Listen to
McIlroy
me,
winning
Drew.
it last year had to have drawn
Listen to me,
serious
Drew.
numbers.
93 of the top 100 programs in America this year were NFL games. 93.
But again, those
93
are,
games
that's
out of the top
action.
100
Those are
were
games.
NFL games.
Bink, those are games. Those are entertainment. That is
Over
comebacks.
50
that
million
is
people
wins.
watch the Chiefs and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
game is
it is a
different than a
fiber of this
draft.
country.
I think that there's a part of me, though, if I were personally ranking them, as in the biggest sporting events in the United States in a given year, a huge part of my judgment system would be if both were on right now and I were only allowed to watch one of these things, what would I watch? The draft would be like 20th. I don't know.
Oh, you would want to see what the Chiefs are picking
NCAA
at 9.
tournament,
over round
World
18 and
Series,
round
Masters.
1. You would want to see who the Chiefs are drafting at 9th.
I'd rather
That
watch
would be top of mind.
Bink,
final.
you can-
I mean, there's a lot of things that would rank above draft.
Bink, I know you're not going to like this, but the overall draft experience, you can catch up on Monday who the Chiefs took at number 1 overall, and it'll be okay.
Oh.
I'm not able to watch Rory McIlroy
Tell
hit
that
an
to the
insane
thousands
shot.
of people we have at the landing.
Oh, do we
The
have thousands there?
thousands.
Are we
Yes.
back at the landing this year?
Thousands of
The
them.
length of
important?
No,
interest
it's where
in
the
the
last 2
topic
years.
does not mean that the event itself is bigger.
Eating
the
Maloney's
reason-
pretzels that are the Fesco pretzel, I think.
Because, Bink, I think the string of events all leads up to the NFL draft. But if there was anything in between that was related to the NFL before the draft conversation or the offense conversation, then we wouldn't be considering the draft as big of a deal.
I just think it's one of those things that people are talking about it 2 months in advance. And to me, that resonates as a big event when people are already starting to talk about that event. That's not till the end of April, but people are talking about it now, which direction the Chiefs are going to go into. Because, Drew, you've probably been asked that question. You've probably been asked a question about the Bengals. Bengals going defense again, Drew? Are they going offense? Which direction are they going?
I've been asked that by one person, and that was my mom.
Damn it.
Like 2 weeks ago.
That is Cody.
I'm just saying,
I don't
Bink.
go anywhere anymore. Who do I talk to?
Damn it.
My kids?
Both of you stop.
Bink, I just think that you can get I don't get a rush out of the NFL draft itself, and I could catch up on Monday, and life would be totally normal for me. I wouldn't feel like I
you
missed
sit
out
there,
on anything.
you hang on to every pick. Drew.
But that experience, I don't hang on. Man, one of the best things this year that I experienced in sports was the Bengals taking Shamar Stewart at number in the first round. No, it was not that. It was not that.
I just think that it's an event people are already starting to talk about which
Cody,
direction to go. Offense, defense. I see it all the time. Chiefs fans, sports fans talking about should the Chiefs get edge? Should they get wide receiver? I mean, everybody's got their opinion on the draft. It's an event that doesn't happen till the end of April, but you're already talking about it in February.
You're never bored of it, Cody. Are you bored of this stuff? Are you ready to just get to April now?
Cody loves the draft.
Are you ready to just just skip there?
I would love nothing more but to just fast forward to the actual event. and
just
to
get
be
over
clear,
this.
I'm going. Alex and I are going to Pittsburgh.
You're two of the 700,000
for the draft. And if I could just make the draft happen now, if we could just open up free agency today, move the draft up by a month and just get it to late March, that'd be great. Let's just speed this whole thing up, They're trying to take over an entire calendar year, and I don't blame the NFL for trying that because they're such big business. But
just the NFL schedules have become a huge deal. I mean, just the NFL has found a way to be relevant in 12 months a year. In the draft is so big. People are talking about the arm length or 40 times or you name it. They're talking about it, which direction their favorite team is going to go in the NFL draft. Because when you sit around in October, November, and December, and you have all those great ratings, people realize the team is built now.
They have not found a saturation point. I'll give them a lot of credit for that.
They have not.
The NFL has not found a thing people won't consume yet.
Except for the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl was.
Oh, that.
Because it was outrated by everything.
Yeah, but they gave up. They mailed it.
Everything,
on that one. Amazing, They'll make us watch like people running in shorts in Indianapolis, but they can't even get us to watch the Pro Bowl. That's how bad it is. When we come back here, we'll talk more about the Chiefs and a thing that's happening in the NBA that I think is of note because tanking has gotten so out of control, they're doing something kind of wild now.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mac Maury, and I wanted to let you know that I've started a new social media series called Mac's Minute. Real original, right? It gets released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our station's Instagram and Twitter accounts, plus YouTube Shorts. I'll give you my best take in 60 seconds on the biggest stories in sports and Kansas City. Make sure to follow on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. Watch Mac's Minute every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on our social media platforms. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Football season is officially over, but the offseason is just beginning, and 96.5 The Fan will be there every step of the way. We'll have people at the Combine in Indianapolis. We'll be at Arrowhead during free agency. And yes, we'll be live in Pittsburgh for the NFL Draft in April. One of the biggest off-seasons in recent history is underway, and there's only one station you need to listen to, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. First up on What's Trending, it is NFL Combine time, as Jay Binkley pointed out in the last segment. Defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers will be measured today and drilled. Wide receivers, running backs, and stuff is a little bit later on in the weekend on Saturday. The big story out of the Combine is that Ruben Bain, a former, maybe still projected top 10 pick, did not measure well. He has 30 and 7/8 inch arms, which would have the shortest arms a defensive lineman taken in the first round would have since 1999. Essentially, if you're going to take him in the first round, you're banking on him being the exception to the rule, like Dwight Freeney, not the rule itself, which is these guys have to have a certain arm length to be successful in the NFL. Doesn't mean he can't be successful in the NFL or somebody won't take him high. But it was the story out of the Combine today.
It's got to go against the odds. They're measuring the kickers right now.
What the hell do they measure for the kickers?
I don't know. It just matters.
They care about how long their leg is, or is it like it should be like foot speed? They should just get him like in a get him up against a radar gun and just see how hard they can kick.
Well, the on-field drills start at 2:00, about a half an hour now. They 40 times between the three different position groups: the defensive line / edge, linebackers, and the place kickers won't run.
Yeah.
But Saturday, Friday is going to be fun. It's the tight ends and everything. You think Chiefs should be in the market for tight ends, but Saturday is like the main event. That's the quarterback, wide receiver, and the running backs. Obviously, the quarterbacks you don't care about, but the wide receivers and running backs.
I care if a quarterback can perform well enough at the Combine to get into the top 10. Come on, Ty Simpson.
Oh.
I hope he looks awesome.
That hurts, man.
I hope he's an incredible Combine. I hope no one's ever looked better in a Combine.
Yeah, the Chiefs needed Dante Moore. When Dante Moore made his decision to go back to Oregon, I was like, no, man, that's a slot the Chiefs could have had if Dante Moore.
So you're going to say you're going to
back.
be rooting on Ty Simpson heavily
Absolutely.
on Saturday.
100%.
I hope Simpson or Aller. I hope one of them is stunningly good.
They somehow run a 4.540 or 4.640.
And they get measured throwing 70-mile-per-hour passes.
If he runs,
I hope all of it.
more and more quarterbacks aren't running now. Remember Sam Hartman, when he was going through the Combine, was the only quarterback to run in the 40s. I don't think we're seeing that quite as much. Kansas State drops to Colorado last night, 79-70. Currently tied for last in the Big 12 standings. I know Kansas State fans. You got Colin Klein on the football team starting here in September.
Yeah, spring practice might be the only thing you have to look forward to this spring as it relates to sports, because it sure as hell isn't going to be basketball. That's been a rough year. Next up on What's Trending, Matt Scherzer has agreed to a 1-year, $3 million deal to return for his 19th Major League season, signed with the Blue Jays today. Randall Grichuk signed as well. We can talk more about some of these. It is. There's always a few late signings in baseball. I think there's one avenue that could be possible for the Royals. I'll get to that tomorrow on the show.
19 years for Max. That's hard.
That's crazy.
It's hard to believe that he's been playing for 19
right?
years.
He went to MU.
I mean, that is unbelievable. Looks like NBC likely to let go of Tony Dungy on their broadcast with the Football Night in America and change their pregame coverage. We don't know about Rodney Harrison or Collinsworth's kid, Jack. We don't know about
Collinsworth.
The guys who got sent to Alcatraz.
They might be hitting the reset button on that. Such a popular show. They like opinions based on. I think Tony's a hell of a coach, obviously, but I don't think the broadcasting was kind of his area.
Travis Kelce, man, I think he might be the name to watch if they want to enhance the fun of the coverage. Maybe just bring him in after he retires.
I know, but I think they're still gonna.
You need to
They gotta wait another year.
You need a stopgap before that. Maybe have Jason do it.
That might work.
If he gets out of ESPN.
Next up on What's Trending, not surprising news, but the Colts have officially given Anthony Richardson permission to seek a trade. They obviously are in talks to try to get Daniel Jones on a long-term deal there in Indianapolis. But at the moment, Anthony Richardson can go seek a trade. In other NFL news, the Jets did trade defensive end Jermaine Johnson to the Titans for defensive end Tavondre Sweat. That according to ESPN.
Is there anybody that wants Anthony Richardson? Like what, does he actually get or does he just get cut? Because
it's so weird, because if I were looking for and that's what's trending here in Cody Gold. Drew, if I were looking for a backup reclamation project, there's certainly worse ones.
Somebody I guess
Trey Lance.
Dude, who wanted...
I'm not going to say he could be Sam Darnold, but in terms of the storyline, quote unquote, of it not working and somehow working,
it might not work. There's a good chance, right? But if you're just a team who needs a quote unquote veteran backup quarterback, and you just want to bring him, like, would I care if the Chiefs brought in Anthony Richardson? Not to trade, I'm not paying him or whatever, but if he just wanted to make league min, and would I prefer him over Chris Oladokun? They don't have a backup right now. Is that the worst plan ever? I'll tell you right now, nobody wanted Sam Darnold. He couldn't get on the field over Andy Dalton in Carolina. I mean, like plenty. Mac Jones wasn't exactly like people weren't banging down the door trying to get Mac Jones to come to town either.
I think the Mac Jones is
Richardson's worse than both of those guys, even in the time that they left. He's had 0 NFL success.
I think NFL teams going to be looking at the Sam Darnold and how that worked, and want the next Sam Darnold. Who's that? Mac Jones clearly comes to mind with that, but he's still under contract with San Francisco as far as that. But the quarterbacks are so starved in this league. Anthony Richardson, 4th overall pick. They're about to pay Daniel Jones.
He still is only 23, by the way, Anthony Richardson. So it's not like he's 26
he's
or 27.
extremely young, but injury prone. But the one thing, too, about Daniel Jones, will you get that big money from him or not, they're kind of stuck to pay him, aren't they? Because once they made that Sauce Gardner move, they thought their quarterback was solidified. They thought they had their guy going forward, and they don't. In my opinion, they don't have it with
I don't
Daniel
think they
Jones.
either, but they're going to proceed with Daniel Jones.
They will. And when they made
so
that
they're
move
going to
for
act
Sauce,
like he's the guy.
He's going to be in quarterback star league. There's not many guys out there that are hoping Daniel Jones can be that Sam Darnold. But, man, it just shows you how teams are just stuck on quarterback, and they're getting rid of him quicker now, right? Like an Anthony Richardson, I mean, he was drafted in Kansas City, 4th overall. I mean, it's that fast for quarterbacks.
He was had eye surgery because the band flicked off of his hand or his foot or whatever
broke
it was.
His orbital bone. That is some pretty tough luck. It's so weird because
pre-game stretches are very dangerous.
Yeah, these small trades that don't feel like much, some of them can have an impact. The Chiefs signed Kareem Hunt last year. And when that got announced, we sat on the show and we talked with Joshua Briscoe, host the pre- and post-game show here on 96.5 The Fan, or on the Chiefs Radio Network. And we said, oh, no. Oh, no. Is this going to be the reason why they don't draft a running back? Surely. They're not going to let Kareem Hunt stop them from drafting a running back they desperately need. And what is the deepest running back class of a decade, right? Right? And what do they do, Bink? They didn't draft a running back because they signed Kareem Hunt. So, before we just knock and I just do like a quick what's trending of Jermaine Johnson to the Titans.
No, I did with Rashard. We had to wait.
Tavondre Sweat to the Jets, and that's nothing. Let me just tell you real quick why that could still impact the draft. The Jets trading away one of only 3 defensive ends they have under contract, and the only one who's had any kind of production in the NFL at all. They are 100%, in my opinion, at this point. 99.9, Bink, taking a defensive end at number 2. They are going to take Bailey, or they are going to take Reese.
Probably Reese.
Probably one of the two, but they're taking one of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lock. We don't have to think that hard about it. That trade today cemented it.
Yeah, and then they had to figure out who's going to throw the ball, which is a major problem.
Yeah, it is. But because of that, and because the defensive end went to Tennessee at number 4, well, maybe the Titans don't feel as much pressure to take a defensive end. Maybe they don't want to take Bain or Arvell Reese if they're not available. Maybe they're thinking tackle. Maybe they're thinking Jeremiah Love, who I've seen mocked there. Maybe they're thinking Carnell Tate. They can go a lot of different avenues, seeing how they have at least a semi-capable defensive end and don't feel the pressure to take one at 4. And so, like, a small trade like that today can cause a ripple effect in the NFL draft, which is to say there's still a lot of time before the Chiefs draft in 2 months. There's a lot of little free agency deals, a lot of little trades, big trades too, but there's a lot of stuff that changes between now and then that's going to impact who might be available.
Yeah, March 9th to 11th.
Chiefs bring back Brian Cook. Is Downs likely at 9? Doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I know I talk about the combine being a big deal, but let's face it, March 9th through 11th is a major deal because that's when the legal tampering period, which is
that's when we start hearing all the deals.
Yes, and most GMs will say they want their roster kind of set before they go into the draft. So they're not drafting for that necessity, which clearly we know by quarterbacks and others, they have to draft, at least should draft a quarterback at that point unless they can get a Sam Darnold, they can go on and win a Super Bowl. That's the direction they want to go. But the quarterback still remains the big mystery. Everybody trying to find that dude. And I'm telling you, the teams that are set with it, like Mahomes, like Allen, like Burrow, like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
With the Seahawks, I guess, and the way they feel about Darnold at this point. Drake May in New England. These teams that feel like they have that guy where they can work on everything else in the draft or free agency to fill out their roster because everybody's looking for that guy. And I mentioned Andy with Daniel Jones. They're hoping he can be that guy and not the second half collapse guy, the injury guy. Hopefully they can have the one that was 7-1 with a really weak schedule, but got the 7-1. They're hoping they can find lightning in that. But it is this. It's your whole team. It's your whole position. That's what I'm saying. You supply that guy with the weapons he needs to succeed. Yeah. An average quarterback, you built up a great defense. If you have a Sam Darnold caliber quarterback, you build up a great defense. That's fine. But if you have the quarterback, you give him the weapons to succeed, to help him win. Yeah. It's just a different approach to how you build your team, in my opinion.
I never asked you, how good do you think Fernando Mendoza is going to be? He is going to be in the division anyway. Do you like Fernando Mendoza? You high on him?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that he just stands right out and says, oh, that's the guy. It's going to be a guy that's going to win Super Bowl rings. But, I mean, there's a lot to like about Fernando Mendoza. I know he didn't put up numbers that really he wasn't that guy for throwing for 300, 350 yards a game. Wasn't that he facilitated that offense. That defense in Indiana was very good, and I don't think people realize that's number 2 defense in the country. They were very good, but he did exactly what they needed. Hell, he was good at Cal before he goes to Indiana. Is a very good quarterback in what he did. Had some talent there too. I'm surprised that they got rid of everybody, which they really did. With Jack Indries going to Texas and Jay Knott going to Oklahoma, they depleted that team. So I went to Indiana. The intangibles are there, and I know that they're going to like it. I know Tom Brady probably loved when he scrambled for that touchdown, in the national title game. Can you do the little things to succeed? He is a guy that'll take advice in coaching. It's not one I don't think it's going to be hell-bent to do things his way. He seems like the type of guy.
You think he'll be amenable in the sense that
he seems to be a guy that they would want. Now, is he going to be? I mean, right now it'd be
the upper end potential feels a little capped.
It's still Mahomes and Herbert, the Knicks. I mean, he's still got a ways to go to even be in that conversation.
To even be the third best quarterback.
Yeah,
in the
can
division,
he be in the conversation to be better than Bo Nix? I mean, can he be in that conversation? Because right now it's Mahomes and Herbert.
The one reason why, you don't have to fear it at the moment is their roster's in shambles. They don't have much in the ways of
a few stars.
Competitive NFL roster.
Ashton Genty can be a star. Brock Bowers can be a star. Max Crosby on defense. Well, hell, we don't even know if he's staying there.
No. I mean, they're claiming, but I also think that that's what teams say when they want you. Please give us more. We'll never trade him. Him? No, we don't give away good players. They're just saying and then the report that they want a Micah Parsons-like return for Max Crosby. Are you nuts? Micah Parsons is like a decade younger than Max Crosby and better, by the way. And Max Crosby is a great player. But what are you, crazy? No, that's not how
I'm just glad the Chiefs don't draft a quarterback this year. It's they
don't have to draft one again for till 2036.
The end all be all. That's something you don't have to worry about because if you do, this draft is something to worry about.
Yeah,
that's got to be the greatest thing in any frame to know
you don't have to draft a quarterback.
You have a quarterback that you don't have to worry about,
and you're not even thinking about it, right? You're not
not there's not even a consideration.
Well, they all get it so wrong too. They spend all their resources.
I know,
if you need
terrible.
a quarterback,
they're really
they spend
terrible.
All the resources on that quarterback. You find out how many people went to their birthday party. I mean, they do ridiculous things about quarterbacks, but they constantly get it wrong. Like Will Levis. Tennessee, get him in the second round. He left Kansas City, thought he was going to be a first rounder. They draft him to be the future. Then all of a sudden they're drafting Cam Ward, number 1 overall. They can't figure out what they're doing. Then you have a Brock Purdy. They drafted last in the NFL draft when all these teams that needed quarterbacks missed on a guy that took a team to a Super Bowl. That's how bad teams miss. Even though it's the most scrutinized position in the NFL draft. It might be one of the most scrutinized positions in all of sports, yet NFL teams constantly get it wrong, and that's putting all their resources towards that position.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I do want to talk about, before we get out of here, something that's going on in the NBA. I know we're going to talk a lot of NBA, Bink, and you certainly, do you watch the NBA
I do,
match?
actually.
I didn't know if you watched
I do, actually, because
I watched some of that Thunder-Pistons game last night, but it wasn't as close as I wanted it to.
It is fun to see, actually, people make baskets. Yeah. It's like some of these college basketball games you watch will go on 5-6 minute stretches, and they can't buy a basket. Hence, for example, watch Houston versus Kansas the other night. Nobody could buy a basket.
I will openly admit, when I was younger, I watched college basketball a lot, and way, way, way more than the NBA. And I was the 19-year-old Drew saying, "Oh, they don't play any defense in the NBA." And then I got near a sideline, a couple of shoot-arounds. No, I was wrong. If you think that, you're wrong. The reason why it seems like they score easier in the NBA is because they are so good
Yeah, the talent on offense.
It's like watching Pleasantville. Even the worst, the guy you view in your head is, that guy can't shoot a lick. He's terrible. Not even a good NBA shooter at all. That guy in a warm-up shoots like 95% from 20 feet. It's crazy, Drew. The guy who you think is the worst free throw shooter, the worst jump shot guy, that guy just makes it rain in a practice.
Yep.
It's crazy how good they are. Steph might take 50 shots in a pregame warm-up and make 48 of them. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yep, it's wild. And especially too, because you look at this guy only scores like 9 points a game, and then they go play in like the Drew League or something like that during the summer, and they're handing out 40-point games to anybody else.
Just go back to that.
It's a good reminder how talented those guys are compared to the rest.
I'm certain that you used to watch those Brian Scalabrine things where he would.
Yeah,
Brian Scalabrine.
He's the perfect example.
Who's just like who's the most like run of the mill. Not good, not get any minutes in an NBA.
Looks out of shape at times.
And then he'd go face these guys who were like legit, like college players, good players, and would own them one-on-one. Yep. Light work. He'd get these guys who'd like go play, go play in Harlem, go play at some of Rucker Park and play great basketball. Look like they handle stuff, and he beat them 10-0. He'd just embarrass them.
Yep.
Like, I don't think you realize just how good NBA players are sometimes. That's all. Just some part of that. But right now what's going on in the NBA, Bink, as you've been following, is that they're panicked, I think, the NBA leadership, because right now, this season, they got a real bad tanking problem. They've got people sitting, and they understand it, and they understand the optics. So what they've started doing is finding the Jazz, finding the Pacers. They've taken it a whole step further now, and I think it's kind of crazy. The NBA, so Lauri Markkanen, who plays for the Jazz, he has a hip injury and an ankle injury. He got placed on injured reserve after getting an MRI from his team. Bink, right? Just like anything else. The NBA is going to send an independent doctor to verify Lauri Markkanen's scheduled MRI results to evaluate for themselves
if he's actually injured
injured the way the Jazz are saying. Do you hear how crazy that is? And so what happens, by the way, if this independent doctor says MRI result says the man's fine, he's got to go out there and play now? How does this work, Drew? How can you prove a guy is hurt if they say they're hurt? How can you prove, and by the way, I assume if you took an MRI to every single NBA player, that 95% of them would show an injury that'd keep you or I out. So what line do you draw, right? If there's a slight strain of an oblique, am I allowed to say good enough? Drew, because the MRI is going to show something, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I saw that Nurkic as well, who's also on the Jazz, is having nose surgery or having surgery on his nose, so he's out for. It is the Jazz are the ones abusing it the most. I think this is where we're at though. Like when we hear Adam Silver say, we're going to take any measure to prevent tanking, they're taking about every measure that they can. Even with the Pacers, I think is actually kind of crazy because Rick Carlisle was asked about they got fined $100,000. And they asked basically if they would have felt comfortable medicating one of their players, Aaron Nesmith, so he could have played. When it's like, excuse me, you wanted me to medicate a player so we would be more talented on the floor.
Also,
I think that's insane.
The Players Association should have a complaint against the league for that. I'm sorry, you're just saying inject them with pain pills to get them on the court? I thought we were trying to stop that behavior from the
injured,
90s and 2000s. We can rest if we're hurt.
I think the whole thing, and it's very rich because the Thunder did this for years and are not getting complained about, but the Pacers
are the best team in the NFL because of it.
But then the Pacers make it to the finals, and then they make a rule saying you can't be top 4 in the lottery if you're in the conference finals, and all of this.
They haven't made the rule yet, right? They're just threatening the rule.
Yeah, which is they're all doing this because of the Pacers essentially, and the Pacers have been injured. Like Tyrese, of course, the Achilles, Nesmith, but they've been also like Pascal Siakam has played all year. They're not resting Pascal Siakam. He's played in almost, if not every single game so far. They just aren't a good basketball team. Like sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Like if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, and if Patrick Mahomes got hurt last year in week 1 of the season, and they were running out Chris Oladokun or Gardner Minshew, the Chiefs would not be tanking, even though they would stink and not be good. They just have the injury issue where you start to see guys getting rested at the beginning of fourth quarter and not playing the whole game after they've been fine all game. That's where we start to see the tip of the iceberg, or the tower starting to, like everything starts to lean a little bit where it's like, hang on a second, the Jenga, the Django set is and so there's pieces that are falling out of it. Eventually this is going to topple down and we're going to see that you've been taking advantage of rules so that you can end up getting better players, which the Jazz haven't been that great since they got rid of Donovan Mitchell anyways. They've been rebuilding for a couple of years now.
Let's face it, though, I can understand the premises of tanking because one player can change around your franchise and how you look at it.
In the NBA,
it can change around
not
how
in
the
baseball,
city
not
uses
easily, you know.
It can't.
More
So
than
I
the
understand
NBA
that.
for
The ones that are hurt, though, are the ones that travel and spend the money. The fans that go and spend all the money, your lifeblood. The people that are spending several $1,000s a year on season tickets for their 4 season tickets, they're hurting. I've always thought the NBA should take into consideration. I think tickets ought to be reduced to how far you're under 500 to final.
Charles Barkley had that idea. I love that.
The final 2 months of the year, where I've always thought that, like, you keep in. I think the same way with baseball. So many games you're under 500.
You cannot
you're
raise
5
your
games
ticket
under
prices,
500. You know, 10% off. You're more than that, 15% off. Put some pressure on at least to the owners. To like, if I'm not fielding a competitive team, I'm not making any money through the turnstiles either.
And it's unfortunate, but that actually might be the way to go, Cody, about this is because money is the driving factor of a lot of these things that we see now.
Hit them in the pocketbooks.
Yeah. If you hit them in the pocketbooks, then all of a sudden the owner's going to be like, no. We actually need to figure this out because I'm losing money on this thing.
Cost prevention, it might be worth it to win more than it is to lose the ticket
It's
revenue.
also taking advantage of those that spend $5,000-$6,000 on season tickets, and you're out there putting up crap. I mean, that is not fair to that person writing that big check
I gotta say,
in the offseason.
They've said it, like this has been brought up in the NBA league circles anyway. They keep trying to figure out all these anti-tanking rules. If the dollar is the part that we're just getting rid of anyway, the actual solution is less games. I just want to be very clear. The simplest
are you sure,
and
though, that it's
cleanest
just less?
solution, in my opinion, is just less NBA games.
Because I don't think the players don't want to play. Like, I don't think the players are like, yo, coach, I'm not going tonight. Like, I think it legitimately is, if you're not injured, it's, I'm resting. I don't think, if you're saying, hey, we're going to give you some rest. If I'm a player, I don't know if I like that necessarily, especially if I've been hot.
It's load management, man.
That's
the
if
new
they reduced
buzzword.
it from 82 to 70 or 65, do you think it will? Do you actually think it'll have that much of an impact, or are we just going to see guys playing 45 games or 50 games instead of the 65 if they reduce the number? I think that maybe is what we just reduce it to. Or you're saying because there's less games, there's less of a spread in terms of record, where because there's 15 less games, there's less of a change in the standing. There's less of a gap to be had in the standings, where the gap between pick 1 and pick 6 is going to be just literally one game or a tiebreaker.
I got to be honest with you. I also think there's less need for because load management is also a part of this problem, not just tanking.
It's a
if
really
there are
big
less games,
especially for the fans like Bink.
If there are less games, less need for load management. I solved it. I at least solved half of the problem. And I do think that with less games, more teams can be in it longer. More teams have a chance to not be eliminated quicker.
You're
never getting rid of tanking altogether if you're going to have the draft system.
If you start seeing more and more load
how do you reduce
management
it?
in college sports, that'll be the end. I mean, it just I can't even fathom load management making its way to college football. I can't even imagine load management making it that far.
I don't think it would ever go to football because there's not enough games.
I understand that, but I would absolutely hate that.
Because
college basketball? Do we see it? Probably.
Because you have 17 games during the regular season. Unless you know that you're locked into the playoffs, nobody's ever locked in until the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season.
For basketball?
No, for the NFL.
For the playoffs, yeah.
You're not going to. There's a race to the playoffs all the way. Some teams might be eliminated, I suppose.
Well,
but
Jets
it's not until
week
13 or 14 that you see that, or 12.
Look, I'm not saying the NBA needs to be 17 games, right? So it's all just a race to the finish line.
Yeah, for sure.
Jets have already been officially
But I mean,
eliminated.
legitimately, there are
Browns.
Here's the thing about the shortened season. As it sits right now, Drew, there are only, I think, 3 teams really eliminated in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
The Wizards, the Nets, and the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls are technically only 4 games out.
Yep. They've also lost 10 in a row now, the Bulls have. So they easily could get, but again, this is where, again, the trade deadline stuff is. You sell off certain players, your team stinks. You're almost intentionally tanking without tanking in a way.
Yeah, but at least we can get to it faster. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
At least I don't have to watch you tank for 4 months.
Instead, it's the last 2 months of the
2 times
season.
a week.
I got you.
It's like Major League Baseball found this problem. With more teams making the playoffs, it puts you, quote, still in it.
I think that was why
You're
they
only
made
5 games out or 4 games out.
That's why they created the play-in. As goofy as it sounds.
They were trying to keep more teams in it.
I think that's part. They wanted to try to fix tanking by allowing teams the potential to get into the playoffs.
It's tough.
But
Bink, who's your somebody point out on the text line before we get out of here, because I know Brandy's getting ready to play. But what someone says the NHL's back tonight. We know Gold's going to be in Canada for the game tonight.
Sure.
Who's you got a squad?
I've always watched.
You got an NHL squad?
Blues.
The Blues? You're supporting a St. Louis team?
I know. I've actually gone down 2 games there. So
wow,
over there.
Did you enjoy the St. Louis experience? Because I've been to St. Louis one time, and from the other times, like Cody's talked to me about,
I've been there like 10 times.
St.
I've
Louis
never enjoyed
stinks,
it.
according to everybody who I've talked to.
I just go to the game and then leave.
That actually might have just answered the question.
In a way,
go to the game and leave.
Answer the question.
Does it not? Answer it in a number of ways.
When I went to
sing the NHL and leave.
I went to St. Louis on spring break one time, and it was stopped there, and it was snowing on spring break. We went to the Arch, which was really cool, and that was about it. We were going to go to a Cardinals game, but the game got postponed.
Never done the Arch.
The Arch is cool. You feel it move and sway when you're up there. It's kind of trippy.
Never done the Arch. Good breweries though. Good beer.
Yeah, you do like the beer.
That might be the biggest compliment you could give a city.
Bink, that's creme de la creme of like available things to do